Good evening. I would like to welcome each of you to tonight's meeting. The first item of agenda we're going to do is we're having our trim meeting. It's the truth and millage and budget for the district. At this time, if you'll please stand for a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I would like to welcome each of you to tonight's school board meeting. The first item we're going to be tending to is our trim notice. And Ms. Rayneck, if you'll please come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight we are here to present the tentative millage rates and the tentative budget for the board's consideration. The taxing authority of the School Board of Madison County and the total millage rate to be levied of 5.454 is more than the rollback rate pursuant to section 200.065 per N1 Florida statutes by 5.65%. This is the same thing we presented in the proposed budget. We're asking the board to approve the tentative millage rates for 22-23 as stated. The required local effort at 3.206, the discretionary effort at 0.748, and the capital outlay effort at 1.5. Is there any question?
You have to have separate motions.
Right. Okay. Okay, are there any questions by the board? I just want to make a comment concerning our millage and the trim. It is the school board's authority. There was some confusion the other night at the political forum. It is our authority to set the millage. We can set it. I'm happy to say over the past 20 years that I've been on the board, we've never increased the millage with us adding more millage to it, but that is our authority. With half-cent sales tax, that would go, we would have to decide, and that would go before the community to vote on, but the millage is set by the board. Okay, is there a motion for the required local effort, the RLE, of 3.206?
I move to approve the required local effort, RLE, at 3.206.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, is there a motion to be properly moved the discretionary effort of 0.748? Is there a motion to...
I made the motion to approve the discretionary effort at 0.748.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any discussion? If there is no discussion, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, is there a motion to be properly moved for capital outlay at 1.500?
I move to approve the capital outlay of 1.500.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 4-0, I'm sorry, 4-0. Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's tentative budget for the 2022-2023 school year?
I move to approve the superintendent's tentative budget for 2022-2023.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? If there is no discussion, all those in favor, show a hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, at this time, we will adjourn the TRIM meeting. Advertisement was placed in the local paper Friday, July the 29th for individuals, a whole page ad. Thank you, Ms. Raynick. Okay, at this time, we will move to our regularly scheduled meeting. Just a second. Okay, I'm going to amend the agenda in that I'm changing the placement of where people are going to appear. Under the individual considerations, I am going to make a 5.0A, and that will be the insurance committee report, which is currently 5.2. And there will be a 5.0B, and that will be the insurance renewal 2022/2023. So there will be a 5.0A, the insurance committee report, and 5.0B, the insurance renewal, and following that will be 5.1, the presentation from the principals. Did everyone get that? Mm-hmm. Okay, at this time, I would like to welcome each of you to tonight's meeting. Anyone wishing to address the board may do so at this time. There's a sign-in sheet at the back as you enter the room. If you would like to address the board, please sign in. Tonight we have present Mr. Carroll, Ms. Gibson, Ms. Bell, myself, Bart Alford, Mr. Reeves, our attorney, Ms. Joseph, the superintendent, and Ms. Bishop, the confidential secretary, who's recording minutes for us tonight. Ms. Williamson is absent tonight due to illness. We wish her well and a speedy recovery. At this time, is there any comments from the public? No comments. Okay, we're going to go to the consent items. 4.1 is the minutes from the July the 18th meeting and the July the 21st TRIM meeting. 4.2 is a contract with Kim Buchanan, speech language pathologist, for additional hours. 4.3 is a contract with Madison Therapy and Wellness with Dr. Kristen Searcy for additional hours. 4.4 is a memorandum of understanding with the Panhandle Therapy Center. It's a behavioral support system, and they're asking for permission to come into the schools to provide services. 4.5 is an agreement with the Ideal Educational Consulting, LLC, Sean Woody. He will be coming within the district on 4/9/2022 for the amount of $4,944. It's an advanced engagement, motivation in urban and culturally diverse classrooms. 4.6 is equipment for the ag classroom, a total of $7,832. It's from the Farmers Co-op. The equipment being bought is a palpation pregnancy chute for $749, a cow chute up to 2,000 pounds for $6,050, and a cow carriage for $1,033. As you know, we have a working farm, and those are all equipments that is necessary for the teacher to teach her what she's teaching. Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent items?
I move to approve the consent items.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Is there any discussion?
I was just going to add that I was questioning 4.5 and 4.6 as far as how it was going to be paid out, but Mrs. Joseph clarified the whole thing for me. This is basically ESSER funds. So I was just wondering how that was going to play out.
Any other questions by anyone? Okay. If there's no questions, been properly moved by Ms. Gibson, seconded by Ms. Bell. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the consent items. Okay, 5.0A is the Insurance Committee report. Mr. Killingsworth.
Do you want me to pass these out now? I can pass them down.
Everyone gets 3.
One. One.
Oh.
We'll give them one. Oh,
Okay, we got it.
okay.
If we can, if it's okay with you, Ms. Susan is here from Aon that can go over the presentation that you see before you and
It's also behind you.
explain it a little bit more in detail, which is also up behind us. Insurance committee has met based on this, and probably, if it's okay, when we get through with this, then could I make my recommendation as to what the insurance committee suggested? Would that be acceptable?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here. I found my way from Tampa.
Great.
Didn't have to drive in rain, so I was very happy. My name is Sue Brim, and I'm an assistant vice president with Aon. Our office is in Tampa, and we are your new broker consultant. So we're going to walk through the renewal. If we can go to slide 4. There we go. I hope that's good enough for everyone. So with Aon partnering with Ms. Joseph and Mr. Killingsworth, we set up a strategy to not go out to RFP for the medical plan, which allowed us to get rid of some of the negative medical claims so they would fall off. With our knowledge of exactly when to request the renewal, we were able to get it at 4.5%. As opposed to what we were looking at previously of 18 to 22%. And this is just for the medical plan. Next on the list is the hospital indemnity subsidy plan. There is the same increase of 4.5% for that plan also. Now the next 3, you'll see they all have an asterisk right after them. And it's because these 3 are benefits that are available to all the active full-time employees not enrolled in the medical plan. And all 3 of those are in the middle of a 2-year rate guarantee, so there will be no increases. The next line item is the group term. From the standard, we're waiting on the renewal. Both of these are, both the short-term disability and the group term life are still in the process. The standard has not provided us the renewal back yet, so we will make sure we let Mr. Killingsworth know as soon as we receive that. The next plan is the dental, and that's through Florida Combined Life. The renewal on that is 9.4%. And then the last one on the page is the vision. And that also is in the middle of a 2-year rate guarantee. So there's no changes on the vision. Any questions?
Let me ask you a question. You said the benefits for the three asterisks right there, hospital indemnity, long-term and group term, would that be someone like, for instance, that was hired that's on Medicare or doesn't take advantage of the insurance? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's typically,
Like,
if somebody waives or if they're already
okay,
enrolled in
so,
Medicare.
so they can take advantage of these three things then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. So after that summary, we'll now look at each benefit and the effects of it. So we can probably go to slide 6. And this is the current medical plan design. There are no changes to the plan. Same plan that you've had. The next slide goes over the renewal rates. You'll see in yellow, those are the current rates for each of the plans, the HSA and then the 2 PPO plans. The HSA would go up to $386 for employee only. The 1 PPO goes from $719.82 to $751.88. And the other PPO goes from $545 to $569. Any questions? Okay. Now we're going to get into, on slide 9, the hospital indemnity subsidy plan. We have both the current and renewal rates and plan designs. Plan designs are not changing on any of these plans. So whatever benefit that you're used to, it's going to be exactly the same. The current subsidy premium is $394 a month. The renewal brings it up to $411.55, which is a 4.45% increase. You'll see the hospital indemnity plan, there's no increase. It's still going to be $25.75 PPM, which is per employee per month. The life insurance, there is no increase on the rate. It's still going to be 16 cents per $1,000 benefit. And the long-term disability, no change in that rate either. It will stay at 73 cents per $100 of coverage. And again, these are the benefits that active full-time employees can enroll in when they don't select the medical plan. Any questions? Okay. Slide 11 shows you the 2 current dental plans. No changes to any of those benefits. But when we look at slide 12, we'll see the 9.4 increase that I talked about previously, and that's on both of the plans. So again, the yellow column is the current, the renewal column is next to it. So the low plan goes from $22.34 to $24.45 for the employee-only coverage. And the high plan goes from $29.03 to $31.77. Any questions on those? Okay, next slide is the plan design for the vision. No changes to any of the plan designs on vision. The next slide is the rates. As I said, we're in the middle of a renewal guarantee or a rate guarantee, so there is no increase. So you'll see the current and the renewal rates are the same in both of those columns. Any questions? You're on.
Thank you.
With the committee meeting and going over the information that we had, also with the HIP plan, with where it was and where it is projected to be, the committee, before I say that, one other thing that I think we did mention is the when we overspend, remember when we had to pay back $100,000 or whatever for the last couple of years?
$108,000.
The new
We
part
remember.
is if we go over, we will not incur a bill such as that. However, if we stay under, then we will receive a refund, if that's what you want to call it, back to the district. Saying that, the old plan was $394, and the new one is $411.55, which is a difference of $17.55 per person. That is in the HIP plan. That is also part for the ones that may not choose to be a part of it. The committee asked that the board pay the difference, which is that $17.55 per person per month during the year, which is basically for a person is $210.60 a year. Ballparking, say 330 people, that'd be the case. That's $69,498 collectively.
So basically, per month, how much would be?
Per month, per person is $17.55, and
No,
that
the
is
total amount that they will be paying toward a person's insurance.
1755.
17?
more. Yes,
Per
sir.
month.
You
That's
remember in-
more, but what's the
Yes, sir.
total amount?
Well, they paid what, 400 last, so it'd be $417.55 per person.
So we're
Per month.
asking the board to
To
up from
increase your
400 per
contribution
month.
to by $17.55 per month above what y'all have so generously done in the past.
So what is the total number of employees then?
Ballparking 330, I mean, that's been fluctuating. Rose and I were talking today. Actually, I think that number was just under it, but I think when we get through, it's going to be right there at that number.
So $5,844.15.
That's additional, okay?
Right. Additional to what we're, a month.
So what were you paying per month? We were contributing $4,400 per employee per month toward their insurance. And I think we're asking you to contribute $411.55 toward each person's insurance per month.
Therefore, they won't experience an increase then with this.
Sustain.
They won't experience an increase in their deduction from this?
Correct, and that, well, it would be covered for the ones that don't take part. It's a wash for that. And the single coverage, plan, that there are one low plan that it's a wash for that, particular person.
If they choose not to do single coverage, they may increase an they will see an increase, but it won't be that much. So we cannot say they won't have an
Right.
increase. There will be an increase, but it would be minor.
Be minor.
So roughly, we would probably be looking at an increase of 70,000 a year in addition to
What you're doing.
what
yes,
we're
sir.
already doing.
Yes, sir.
$70,129. Okay, is there what's the discussion and feeling concerning this?
Well, I know insurance goes up. People need insurance. Our people need it. I mean, in the scheme of things, our board, I'm for helping our folks out, myself.
And I agree also. If it's something that's, and I'm sure Rose has got involved in this, and it's something that we can afford and help them out, I'm in favor of it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the increase of $17.55 per employee?
I move to approve the increase of $17.55 per month per employee.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Bell. Is there any further discussion?
I think what you're saying is that you're approving the insurance renewal with that increase in premium, right?
Yes, yes.
And that total amount, the board will be contributing toward each person's insurance is $411.55 per hour per month. That's what we need to know. That's how much we're paying.
417.55, isn't it? 417.
It's on this paper, it's $411.55.
But in order to do the one from the 369.54 to the 386 renewal for the 5781, that's where the minor adjustment is. Because remember, that's the plan that the individual employees.
So what's the total
Yes.
amount of that insurance?
Well, it went from 369.54 to 380.
Okay, the that will be
Six for that.
encompassing the $411. If the board contribute up to $411.55 per employee.
Correct,
If
from
it-
394 to 411.55 is a difference of 17.55. So your difference of pay, I guess, is what your one was 11.55, if you paid 400 last time.
Okay. So, Ms. Gibson, would you put that in your motion?
Say it again.
Or Mr.
From
39.
going from four, I'll just do this, instead of going from 400 last year, now to 411.55, which is 11.55, the difference of what you were doing, that would be the recommendation.
Okay, I move to approve the contribution from was it from 394
Well,
to
it
4?
was, but really, your part was 400, so the
Okay.
difference in pay is from
400.
400 to 11.55.
Okay.
11.55.
Okay, I move to approve our contribution from 400 to 411.55.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is that still your second, Ms. Bell? Seconded by Ms. Bell, still. Okay, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that 5.2 and 5.3?
Mr. Killingsworth, is that both 5.2 and, or 5.A and B?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, bear with me just for a second. I have a list of, I want to welcome all of our principals here tonight as they present their plans of action for the 2022-23 school year. They will review the school's historical data and present a plan of action for academic improvement for all students for the next school year. The presentation to the board will be presented tonight first by Lee Elementary School, Ms. Carrie Bean. Let me just go over the list of how you will come so you can be prepared. First is Lee, second is Madison County High School, third is Madison County Central School 6 through 8, fourth is Madison County Central School Pre-K through 5, fifth is Pineda, and sixth is Greenville. So if Ms. Carrie Bean would please come.
Thank you.
Before she begins, I just want to say that when I asked Ms. Joseph for doing this, I went to the Bureau of School Improvement that was at the high school last year, and the presentation that they're presenting is coming directly from the Bureau of School Improvement, questions that they asked the high school on their initial, mid-year, and final review. So these are all questions that were asked by the Bureau of School Improvement that I thought I wanted everybody to be consistent with what they were presenting, so we'd have a good idea of looking at the data. So
Okay.
that's where the questions came from. Thank you. You may begin.
As you know, I'm Carrie Bean, and I have the privilege of serving Lee Elementary School this year as the principal. Our enrollment is, as of Thursday, was 208 students. That's pre-K through 6 now. Our enrollment last year, which was pre-K through 5, was 184 students. We have 46 students currently receiving ESE services, and 22 of them are speech only. All of our students with disabilities will be served in the general education classroom. Our ESE support facilitator will collaborate closely with the general education teacher and push in to provide appropriate services to our students. Now, that's to provide their accommodations in the classroom. Some of the testing, especially state testing, they will be pulled out into a small group, and the ESE support facilitator and para will help with that. We have 13 students with a Section 504 plan, and 3 of our students are labeled as gifted. Our average daily attendance last year was just over 91%. 95% is considered, I guess, good daily average attendance, so we need to get that up a little bit. Our discipline referrals last year, we had 33 student discipline offenses. 10 of those were aggressive acts, and 4 of those took place in the classroom. Ways we're going to try to, keep our discipline referrals low this year and maybe even lessen them are to continue to use the character trait of the month to help determine the star students of the month. So we have a different character trait for every month. The teachers are going to be looking for students that demonstrate those character traits, and they are going to be put in the bucket, and the principal will choose a student from each grade level to represent the school as student of the month. We're going to continue our school-wide positive behavior interventions and supports, the PBIS. Our teachers, this is something new. Our teachers are going to create and share with me their classroom routines and procedures. And our teachers are going to the MTSS behavior training tomorrow. And this is a big part of that. If we have consistent classroom routines and procedures, and we follow them, have them posted, and teach them daily, then that helps with classroom management and helps eliminate some of those behaviors. Another thing we're going to implement is striving teachers visiting model classrooms with the principal or the reading coach to observe and discuss classroom management strategies and techniques. So teachers who are, the nicer word is striving versus struggling with their classroom management, or they could just be struggling with implementing the standards. We're going to send them to a model classroom with me or the reading coach. The plan is to talk about what we're going to look for before the observation, and then go and observe together, and then discuss what we saw and implementation after the observation. And the district is creating a new discipline flow chart to assist teachers in determining office-managed versus teacher-managed behaviors. So just teaching teachers how to determine what is office-managed versus teacher-managed, and also providing them training on interventions that they can do before kids are sent to the office with a discipline referral. All right, we had 2 students last year with 1 or more Fs as their final grade. We had 1 in 2nd grade and 1 in 3rd grade. This is the data I used from K-12 Lift that they provided concerning our school grade from last year. And if you'll notice at the top, the prior year is indicated by an exclamation point. So you can see a visual of where how our students performed last year versus how they performed the year before. So at the top is the school grade component. In 2021, the school grade was a 63, which was an A. And last year, it was a 60, which was a B. As you probably know, a 62 constitutes an A. In ELA, last year, as you can see, our ELA scores went down in achievement, in our learning gains, and in the bottom quartile. We didn't have a score from that the year before, but that score was a 40. So as I'm about to talk about English language arts, specifically the learning gains, is going to be our main area of focus this year. Of course, we're going to focus on each area, but we're specifically going to focus on helping those students who are in those in the bottom quartile, and of course, all students in grades 4, 5, and 6 will be in the learning gains. Our science was a bright spot, 70% proficient. This year, up from last year, and as you can see, math was at 80, and the learning gains in math were also up, they're 63. We did not earn a grade in the bottom quartile. You have to have 10 students to make up a cell for each grade component, and we only had 9 in that cell. So we didn't get the bottom quartile this year in math. So this is basically just explaining the slide before. 5th grade science, I put the 2021 percentage and then the 2022. We were up 17 points in science achievement, 5 points in math achievement, 1 point in math learning gains. Neither year had math bottom quartile learning gains. Our ELA went down 7%, and the learning gains went down 10. And then the year before, didn't have a bottom quartile percentage, but we were only at 40 this past year. All right, our barriers to student achievement. These are actually opportunities. We have a lot of new staff at Lee Elementary, including myself. 9 out of 14 of our instructional staff were new to LES, and 4 are first-time teachers. All of our paraprofessionals are new. I'm new. We have a new MTSS reading coach, a new ESE support facilitator, a new 5th grade science teacher. We have a new math curriculum this year and standards, and we need to map those so make sure the teachers understand the path they're going and understand the standards. We have a new state assessment program, as you guys know, and that also includes grades K through 2. So again, not sure how that's going to play into the school grade next year. And we had the addition of the grade 6 to Lee Elementary this year. All right, how we're going to address these opportunities for improvement. We're going to continue to have monthly data reviews, and they're going to be facilitated by the reading coach and me. These data reviews are going to include progress monitoring and classroom assessment data, and we're going to use the data to plan for instruction for students in all tier levels, not just tier 3, not just tier 2, tier 1 as well. We're going to institute semi-monthly PLCs, so twice a month. We'll introduce professional learning communities. They're going to be facilitated by the MTSS reading coach. And there's going to be 2 grade levels at a time because our teachers have planning, our kindergarten and first teachers have planning together, 2nd and 3rd, and then 4th, 5th, and 6th. So that will allow for vertical planning as well. And during that time, the reading coach will assist teachers with standards and planning for instruction and assessments. Peer observations, and I talked about the peer observations earlier, that process. And then the goal is to create new math curriculum maps to work with Ms. Barn, the instructional coach, and other schools to create updated curriculum maps and common grade level formative assessments in math. So teachers are our greatest resource. We can have all the technology, the programs, textbooks, all the most up-to-date things, but the most important instructional resource will always be the teacher, not the technology, activities, or programs, the teacher. And it doesn't matter how many resources we have, if we don't know how to use them, it won't be enough. So the key is to support our teachers, train our teachers, teach them how to look at the standards and how to assess students and look at the data. All of those things we can do to help our teachers, not just provide them with resources.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to bring this to attention, just in highlighting a grade level, and looking at longitudinal data for the past 3 years in Lee for third grade math. And I think it's been the same teacher the whole time. Her lowest proficiency was 75%, and that's great. And for the science teacher, that's outstanding.
Yes.
To have that percentage. If you look at surrounding areas,
Yes.
that's a really high score.
It
and
is.
A lot to be proud of.
It is, and actually, our third grade, she's teaching third grade math and science this year. She was self-contained last year. She is the only teacher at Lee Elementary School that is teaching the same things she taught last year.
Well,
She or he.
She did great. She did great with it. And, I also want to, I've never heard it said before, striving teachers. That's a nice,
Well, we
a positive way to.
yes, it
put-
is. Instead of calling our students struggling, a few years ago, they said, let's call them striving. They're striving to be better.
I
So,
like that.
I like that.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
You fully staffed now?
yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I like the fact that you're the striving teacher, that anyone that might need a little extra, to take them aside and you work with them, and, because new teachers, they're going to be striving. I mean,
Yes.
they're brand new. They need all the help they can get.
Yes.
We were all new teachers at one time.
And they don't know what they don't know, so to speak.
Yep.
So, and even today, I told veteran teachers, if you want to go see what another rock star teacher's doing, then just let me know, and I'll get your class covered, and I'll go with you, or Ms. Maltzby will go with you, because we all have room to grow. So,
And one of the things that I think is real important is teachers teaching the curriculum with fidelity. And I mean, that's a big thing. We pay all this money for these curriculums that are research-based and scientific-based, and if you're not doing it with fidelity, then you're not getting the true benefits of it. So I do like the idea of y'all observing and letting them see how it should be, because many times I think that may be overlooked and not done. But thank you for the presentation, and best of luck. And
thank you.
you've got some great staff that have stayed. You've got a great MTSS reading person
Yes.
that's there. I worked with her years ago when she came back to Lee. So I wish y'all well.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Madison County High School, Mr. Brooks. Thank you, Dr. Blue.
Is this yours?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Did you get this?
As we begin this presentation, I want to commend those who were at Madison County High School last year for all of their hard work in obtaining a B letter grade. That is something that was special. As you look at some of the things they've done over the years and some of the things that they've done from last year, from 2021 to 22, you'll see how extraordinary it was. All right, Madison County, we have 463 enrolled as of, we put this together, it was late last week. Total number last year was 10 more, it's 473, with 37,504 students and 161 ESC students. You can circle that as well as circling the total enrolled, with 16 gifted. Our average daily attendance, 88.95% of our students of the 473 last year attended school daily. So you can also circle that one. We go to the next one. You'll see our discipline data. When we took a look at this, we saw it as what it was. There's no extreme acts of violence or any kind on our campus. It was well controlled. Our students did what they pretty much did what they came to school for, but with one exception. Out of the 930, I believe it's 931 referrals, 575 of them were targeted. And skipping was a large part because that was 66. As you see, 63 were, I believe, teacher generated. Disobey and disrespect was 53, 33 classroom disruptions, and one of the highlights of this data, coming from a Central Florida high school, and I don't think I've ever seen that, 4 fights. In this day and age of the use of technology, that is something to be very proud of. Looking at this data, as you know, the negatives, or the number of tardive referrals, was way too high. You had a large number of our students that weren't spending enough time getting the instruction that they need to move forward. And one of the things we're going to pride ourselves on this year is making sure that they get the number of minutes that they need to be successful, because if they're not getting it, you can take all of the professional development, all of the checks and balances that you have and put all that together, but if they're not getting the quality instruction, they're not there on time, it is basically a waste. So we want to make sure that they're going to get there. We changed the policy to where if a kid's in the classroom, both feet in the classroom, they're not tardy. And you'll see, I believe in this PowerPoint, a large amount of our tardies were related to student drivers. And there's going to be some consequences that are directed to those. If you're not there on time, you have an overly number of tardies, you won't have parking. Parking is a privilege at Madison County High School. You come there to get an education. That's first and foremost. So, like I said, if you look at the positives, very few fights. And I'm telling you, that is impressive. Coming from a 1,600, 1,300 student school, even if it's 4 fights a year, that's impressive. So the biggest part of what we do here is to graduate people on time. Our mission statement is directed to graduating our students with the tools necessary to serve in any community. I'm not saying this word for word, to serve in any community, whether it be diverse or global. It doesn't matter. Where we put Madison County High students, we want them to be successful. So in doing so, we took a good look at our seniors. We had 21 seniors in danger. We call those the Big 21. Our expectation this year is every teacher will know someone out of that group. The administrative team will know all of them. The ones that are in danger because they have failed classes and they need classes to make up. We look over to the next column. 7 of them have a GPA below 2.0. 51 need a reading score. 27 need a math score. Now, our SAT school day is on October 12th. How are we going to remedy this? Remedy this is remediation during classes, what we call lunch study hall, after school tutoring that should be and could be paid by Title I dollars. That goes to your after school tutoring. And makeup sessions that are teacher directed. And these are all done through the efforts of our teachers where we progress monitor, and we have what we call data chats, where they're actually telling the parents and the students what our expectations, what our student expectations should be, as well as parent expectations. And then it's relayed to the parents with parent meetings and like I said, student data chats. You look at the next one, and we want to thank those fine folks at Lift K-12. In my years as administrator, that's usually done solely by the administrative team, but she helped us put these data charts together. And you're going to get a good look at the accomplishments of Madison County High School, where when you look at the explanation points, that's where we were. It's similar to what the Lee County presentation was. And you see the growth of the total points, what puts us well into a B category, not on the edge, but into the category. And as you see, they were somewhere around 41 to 42 the previous year. Then you go down to your achievement levels, ELA, math, science, and social studies, growth in all. But the one thing you'll notice is our ELA and our math lowest quartile. I think that brings a unfamiliarity, but it also brings a point I'm going to get to later in our PowerPoint. That we got to get to know our kids, and sometimes our ESC kids are in those categories, and we need to take a hard look at our accommodation and services that we give them. Our grad rate fell slightly, somewhere around 93, fell slightly to 89. Our staff and administrative staff especially truly understands anything less than 95% should desire work. We need to work a lot harder. If you go over to, I believe it's the next one, you'll also see achievement levels, and once again, you'll see, I'm going to skip down. I'll let you go down, give you a minute to look at it, but I'll begin the conversation at the 10th grade algebra. A lot of these are our retake kids. A lot of them are your lowest quartile math. You see, we tested 31, and only 6 students scored it at 3 or higher. I remind you those are our lowest quartile students, and you'll see our plan as we follow. You go to the next one, and I wanted to show you this especially because you'll see the growth in each category, achievement levels, and within learning gains. There is growth between last year and the year before. We took a step back. But as you look at our achievement levels in ELA, math, science, and social studies, each year, Madison County High School was able to get some growth out of it. That's just not by chance. There was some hard work done by these fine folks. On the positives of these, we are improving each year, and we want to keep this momentum up, especially with this year. The barriers, teacher retention. If you look at social studies, we start with an entire new social studies staff, brand new to our district. In each one of our lowest quartile classes, there's a new teacher. We've yet to fill one. It's very hard to find an Algebra 1A teacher, especially one that possesses the skills to teach lower level kids. And when you have one, you got to keep it. And attendance and truancy. We addressed, I spoke to you about that earlier, about our tendency and our truancy. You know, some of our student drivers make the choice to leave. Well, I can pretty much guarantee they're not going to make that choice this year. Because a lot of them want to drive. A lot of them don't want to drive to Saturday school when they have to, because that's one part of my plan. It'll begin with the administrative team will take a Saturday school twice a month. And if you're truant or tardy, based on or even based on teacher recommendation, you'll attend Saturday school. If it gets any higher than that, you lose your parking permit for the 9 weeks. Go back to the next one. Our opportunity for improvement. I spoke to you about algebra. I spoke to you about U.S. history. I spoke to you about the new teachers in each discipline, and that's what we have to face. But we face it knowing that this year is a year we retain teachers. This year is a year that we monitor their progress as well as our students' progress. We facilitate their needs. We truly understand some of the things that they're going through. And I understand the chairman spoke about fidelity. It's very difficult for a new teacher to take on a new curriculum and move through it to fidelity. They have to get the mentorship they need to do that. As the years come, it becomes easier. So many of the fine folks that are standing behind me are going to knock it out of the park with the teachers that they have. But we want to retain them for the next year so they can continue to knock it out of the park. So, facilitating growth, not only with the teachers, but instructional growth with each one of our students. Our plan is to look at failure rates, look at the students who fail, because they'll probably be they'll probably be some of the big 21, or some of those who need to make up courses, or even pass subject tests. And that's where we carefully analyze that data and make it work for us. Put it to good use. Analyze it to fidelity. Closely monitoring the lowest quartile, as I spoke to you before. The next slide I'm going to show you will tell you how this comes into play. Our 9th grade students we had at least 30 students with S, one or more S. This is where it starts. We see the need for a complete, organized freshman orientation. And we're going to institute some of that on the first day that our students come back, where our students have the understanding of what they're expected, where they can go to get questions answered. And when we say what they can expect, who are they attending school with? And that includes some of the kids in the student body. Get them to understand that this is where it begins, that they don't have the time, even though some of them may, they don't have the time for makeups. But this is where you take your high school education seriously. Continue to look at our instructional practice and student engagement through Kagan and Abbott. As a school-based administrator, I'm not familiar with Kagan, but I've heard some great things, but I am very familiar with Abbott practices. And I can tell you, in high school, I was an Abbott student. And I can tell you the engagement piece is what brings our kids to school. And Abbott gives you that enriching engagement practices that allows a student to enjoy where they are, and that's what puts them on the bus, and that's what puts them on the car to get them to school on time. So we look at those ESC students who are possibly part of our lowest quartile. We look at the service delivery, the push-ins, push-outs, whether they need that extra time, where we pull them out and they get to continue to give their supports. But we'll also look very well at our individual accommodations to make sure the accommodations are serving their best needs, not to feel good, but their best academic needs. That the test support that they have, the extra time fits the needs of that particular student. And that is the last one. Any questions at all?
I want to thank you. That was very well detailed. Does any board members have any questions?
Thank you. It was a lot of information. Thank you.
Did you say you were still searching for teachers?
Yes, we are right now searching for Algebra 1. Algebra 1A, I'm sorry. Like I said, it's very difficult in finding someone, college education trained. And even if you don't, someone who's trained thoroughly in skillfulness of teaching lower level kids.
But you're absolutely right, keeping them.
It's true.
So it's not new every year for the kids is a key thing, I believe.
Anything else?
I want to make a comment concerning the improvement in Algebra 1 geometry and biology EOC.
Yes.
I've been on the board 20 years and I've never seen EOCs that high. We had EOCs for 20 years, but since we've been having EOCs, especially in biology and Algebra 1. And,
Yes.
the thing to keep in mind with the Algebra 1 is, unfortunately for the high school, so many of your high achievers in middle school take it in 8th grade. And so in 9th grade, you have students who maybe struggled in math, and so the high school has to work their magic and try to have high EOCs in Algebra 1. So that's really good in the geometry. And in the biology, 1, again, that's a really high score and much for the high school to be proud about.
Yes.
And I want to apologize for not addressing those high points. That biology is something, like I said, with the number of years that I've had in education as a school-based administrator, that is the highest score I've ever seen. And that's 15 years ago. I've seen them close to 70, 68, 69, but that is the highest score. So that's some great teaching.
I was going to say, I've been very impressed with the high school the last couple of years. One thing that Mr. Finley mentioned to me about this supervision, how important it is, and
Very
I mean, that's basically important in all grade levels, but the high school has done a good job, and it shows.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for your presentation.
And I like with what you're doing with students with their tardiness.
Yes.
And with the driving, that'll be slashed in half because everybody will want to drive. So you've probably found the key to get people to be on time.
Yes. We hope so. We hope.
Yes.
Our superintendent doesn't get too many calls.
Well, again, it is what it is, and students need to be in class to learn, so. Again, thank you, Mr. Brooks. Next up is Madison County Central School, 6 through 8, Dr. Pettiford.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you.
Mr. Alfred, if I may say, you bragged on the high school biology. The teacher is sitting here, the end of the year,
Would
so
she please stand?
she's back there. She's my daughter. And I just want, she doesn't want you to know it. But she is back there sitting. And she took Miss Phillips, had to leave quickly, and she took the ranks and went on with it. So we were scared, all of us, but you know what? She was confident, enjoyed her children, fed them cupcakes and everything she could feed them, and had games and stuff, and they learned that material. So hey,
Good.
we're
glad I met
she
her.
motivated them pretty well.
I met her
But
yesterday, and she's not coming back with us. She's
No.
going on to become an occupational therapist, so we wish her well, and
yeah,
wish her all the best, but we do thank her for last year finishing the year out.
yes, that's what Harvard. But I just thought I'll say that maybe she'll want to be a teacher and not the OT, right? But I know how that's going to be. I won't win that battle, so I won't. Okay, so you all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. First, I started out looking at the data, and I just wanted to see where are we, and that's the approach I took. So I looked at the 3-year trend data, 19, 21, and 2022. As you know, 2020 was the COVID year. So this is proficiency that I did on each subject area. So ELA, if you notice, from 19, 35%, 23%, and then 25%. So we are declining. We pick up a little bit, but we are declining in proficiency, as you can see. If you look at math, 37%, 21%, 18%. You can see the decline there. Algebra 1, though, this is our bright light here. I'm going to brag on Mr. Plogel and his skills. 79%, 76%, and 95%. We gave him a big pat on the back today. But may I say this about math? Mr. Plogel, we were trying to figure out why math is dropping like it was to 37, 21, 18%. He said for 3 years, they used to do, he and Dorita Pinker, they did reflex math. And he asked me, could we get it back? So I'll be begging for reflex math again. He seems to think that will work. He said we stopped doing it for 3 years, and that's why, he thinks that's why it's failing. So I did tell him I'd say that tonight when I came, so I kept my promise, and he got me saying it. All right, so science is 31%, 32%, and 25%. We're dropping there. But we got an awesome STEM coach, Ms. Vaughn. She is working with us right now. We're going to get that up, no worries. She's working with the teachers now. Civics, 53%, 42%, and 35%. We had Ms. Knight to go out and have a child, so I think you notice it's 53%. She was not there last year, so I think we can pick that back up too. So no worries on that either.
Now, looking at that, I kind of structured, what are the possibilities for these decline in 2022? So I was looking at the attendance rate, and the average daily attendance rate that they did have, and I didn't put it on, is 88%. And that's not bad, but when I did it by grade level, it didn't look too well, okay? So when you look at the by grade level, 6th grade, 70 kids out of 116, actually they said any attendance that's below 90%, the children are at risk. So we got to make sure, we got a plan to get them to make sure they come to school this year. So we got some type of incentive. So 6th grade, they were 60% below the 90% attendance rate. 7th grade, as you can see, they're 57% below 90%. The 8th grade did a little bit better with 42% below the 90% rate. So this year we plan to do something about that too, to get them to come and enjoy school, as my fellow co-worker just said. Now, moving on to the next page, we're talking about attitude here, which is the discipline, right? So last year we had a total of 1,394 referrals on the middle school side, and then my partner will tell you about the rest of the referrals when she gets up here. But anyway, looking at the 6th grade, 478 referrals were written, and what I did, I ranked those offenses in order, the things that they like to do. They, the first offense, they're very good at being disobeying and disrespecting. They, the second thing the 6th grade did, they had altercations, and the third offense is classroom disruption. So that's what, I just picked the top 3 offenses. There's a lot of offenses, but these are the top 3 things that referrals were written for. So if you look at the 7th grade, they had 397 referrals, and they too have the problem of disobeying, disrespect. 51 referrals were written for that. The second offense, they like to use profane language. There are 25 referrals for use for that. That's their top 3. And the third offense was disruptive. And moving down to the 8th grade, 519 referrals were written. The 49 was the same thing, disobey and disrespect. Again, the second offense is disruptive, and the third offense is classroom disruption. So, as you can see, they got something in common. They all like to disobey and disrespect. So we got a lot of work to do there, and we put some plans in places for that, okay? So moving on to course failure that happened in 21-22. In 6th grade, we had 25 out of 116 that failed ELA. In 7th grade, we had 11 out of 130. In 8th grade, we had 14 out of 140. For math, we had 20 out of 116. 2 out of 130, 14 out of 140. Now, down for the FSA Level 1, the students who had Level 1 in ELA, there were 51 6th graders that are Level 1 in ELA. And for 7th graders, there were 67 7th graders that are Level 1. And in 8th grade, there were 67 that had a Level 1 ELA. And let's move down to math. For FSA Math Level 1, 6th graders, it was 60 students that received a Level 1 this year, 57 7th graders, and for 8th graders, 65. All right, moving right along, how do we grow from here? First, I had to find out where we are, but how do we grow from here? The thing is, the county has done a fantastic job of choosing Mr. Sam Forrester and Shannon. I appreciate you all doing that. I didn't realize how great that was because I've been meeting with her all summer because she's catching me up because I've been the assistant and a lot of other things. I hadn't been in the principal world lately, but I'm back, and she is so awesome. I like the fact that now that when students are going to have their teachers to meet with them one-on-one, they're going to build a relationship with them. They got it set up so we can ask them certain questions like, what are your interests? What are you good at in school? Who helps you at home with your homework? All those things, all those questions teachers are going to ask. They're going to ask those students, and they're going to be building a relationship as they're doing it. The key to getting kids to learn, kids got to know that you care. And that's real. They know when you don't care, believe me. So I love the fact that Sam Forrester put that together, and I like how they did the layout. If you could look at it, you can tell what these students have done over their academic history. The teachers can tell exactly what they did in 6th, 7th, and 8th. They know what level they scored on, so they can talk to them about that, have a sensible conversation. And they also can make a goal, a reasonable goal, and the child will be making the goal with their teachers. I love it. So, and also gives you more information about the child to see why, if you can see the grades and the absence and all that. They'll discuss all that with the child. And what's really neat today, when I met with the staff, they want to have socials to do their welcome forms. They're going to discuss that with the parents. We're going to invite parents in our school, and we're going to let children talk to their parents about their data once we do the welcome form with them. Now, moving on to the second thing, how we grow. We feel like we'll grow with the progress monitoring tools. We know that those tools are going to identify our students' strengths and weaknesses. So we will be doing the STAR AP 1, 2, and 3. And the good conversation we had today, and their lights came on. I wish y'all could have been there. You know how teachers used to worry about their evaluation? They say, okay, when you take this first test, you don't have to score that well. Because, I mean, they don't really say it, but it's kind of understood. One teacher said it, and I'm not going to tell you who said it, but they said, you know what, I don't care about what they do the first time. Because by the end of the year, it's going to look really good because they don't do well the first time, and at the end of the thing, they grow. I got more growth and I look good. But then after we talked about exact path, what the county also has done a fantastic job of getting, when we talked about if you let those kids just score anything on the AP1, the instrument, the resource that we've got, the exact path, the new program where we can, once they take the STAR test, and then they'll sync the data into the exact path, and that program will develop a learning path for each child. When they learn that your kid could be, if they're in 6th grade and you let them do nothing, they can end up on a 4th or a 3rd grade level by not trying. And we'll have them on the wrong learning path. And when we talked about that, it registered with everyone. And Ms. Botenstein is in here. She can attest to that. And they were saying, you know what, they got it now. So when we take the AP1, we're going to give it our all. All of us, we're going to make sure children don't slack. They're going to give it their all, and they're going to take it seriously so we can get them on the right learning path. Moving on down, I really feel that supporting teachers, that is how you move schools. That is how children learn. The teachers, they hold the keys to their success in life. That's real. I mean, all of us, we're on the outside, and I know we're given the resources, but the rubber, when it really comes down to learning and things taking action in the room, it's the teacher and the student. So we got to support the teacher so we can get what we need. You see, so I believe in that wholeheartedly. Professional development, I'm going to make sure, I got a lot of new teachers. I'm building capacity this year, so y'all understand that. We got to get them to where they need to be. We're going to give them a lot of professional development in the delivery process, all type of things that they need, the Kagan strategies they talked about. They're trying, and they're willing. They were so eager today. It was just a good feeling to see a lot of people that want to make a difference. After I did this presentation with them, they saw where we were. Everybody's on board and everybody want to do the right thing. Now, here it is being highly visible. Now, that's where Mr. Ward and we're going to make sure the teachers can teach. They're going to teach in peace. We're going to get those scores up because we're going to move all the disruptions out the way. And I told them today, just look around. Every time you look around, you'll see me coming in. Don't mind. That's me. I'm walking. I'm taking your children's pulses. Don't worry. I'm not after you or anything like that. I just like to look at the kids learn. And when they see us out there, they'll know. They'll know, hey, I better be doing my work because she's here. They're going to be right here. So, and we also located on the hallways. I know y'all know that. Some people got bets on us that we'll be running back to the front office, but we won't. I tell you that. We're going to be out there because I love it already. I love the hallway. It feels good. It feels right to be there. It really does. So open door policy, we'll have that. We're going to find every resource that teachers feel like they need to be successful. And again, align instruction, because that's all I heard from them. They didn't get to teach because of so much disruption. But they will, that's one thing we got top on our plate. So, and we also want to recognize our teachers, and we're going to make sure we got parent groups to come in and recognize our teachers a lot. And that's how we're going to engage parents. See, the thing is, when people talk about Central, we want them to come in. We don't want to be we want to be transparent. We want parents to come in and say, hey, you know, they say all this stuff about this school. They're really doing really great things over there. Kids are learning. Teachers are teaching. So we're going to let our parents in. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. And you're probably going to say, well, you better think about that. But no, I think that's the way to go. And after we talk today, I think as long as I'm with the parents, and Mr. Ward and I are escorting them through and they got volunteer forms. We want them to be engaged in instruction. They never had a chance to do that. So we want them to see how great our teachers are. The next page over, this is how we plan to do it. The 10 most powerful strategies that work. Now, I read an article over the summer after Ms. Joseph gave me my new job description. So I went to reading and trying to find out why is it that children can't do it, but it's not really that all children can learn. We all know that we're all educators. But I read this article, had the same demographics as Central, and they did this in an urban area, and they used these 10 most powerful strategies every day in their lesson plan. They didn't miss one. They used every one of them. So when I was talking to the staff today, they looked like, hey, yeah, we used some of that, but we never used all of them at this, every day, consistently and with fidelity, as Mr. Alfred said. That's what we're going to do this year. We wanted to do something different. We want to try something different. Hey, what do we have to lose? You know what I'm saying? We need to try something different. And there is something, if you walk in Central, there's something different in the air. The teachers were saying it, parents were saying it, the ones that came in today. Say something different about this. Y'all, I could tell there's something going on here. And watching everybody coming Sunday, helping out. And I know I wasn't out there but a brief moment, but the heat and we really don't get along sometimes. But then again, I had so many books who I was doing. So we were all busy inside while some of you are sweating outside, but we appreciate you're making the school look so much better. We're getting so many compliments. And now when you pass by, you're going to see some Broncos, wooden Broncos standing up if you hadn't passed by. So we got some Broncos. They're up right now. I hope the weather didn't take them down. And Miss Rogers, she's here. And she is going to paint our Broncos too. She's an artist, and we're going to use Miss Ansley Rogers to do that. We're so excited. And we do have an account at Ace Hardware, so go ahead and get all the paint you want. So go ahead and do your thing. We need it, okay? And if you can't charge it to the school, I got an account. You can charge it to me too. I got one. My name is up there, okay? All right, y'all. I'm kidding. Don't look so serious. All right, now let's move on. Let's move on to the next page. But here, reducing discipline for referrals. This is how we're going to do it. We got a little section, right? Everybody's going to be in homeroom about 15. The sixth grade will be in there about 20 minutes. The 7th and 8th grade, they'll be there about 15 minutes. Each day, the teacher's going to they're going to use one strategy, the SEL, and that's social emotional learning strategies. And this is where we're going to get our restorative practices in. You can't say we're not, that's the only place we're going to get it. And the other place we'll get it is in ISS. Now, once they get in ISS, I don't anticipate for many students to get there, but when they're there, we're going to restore them in ISS. Okay, that's where we restore them. We're not going to restore them in our class time because we can't let you eat up our instruction. We got things to do. We're on a mission. But we will be doing restorative practices, but we're going to do them in way where it won't hurt the instruction, okay? So, but the teachers, they all have those, and it's kind of like checking the pulse of your students, looking at them. See, you can look at your kids and talk to them in the morning. You can tell when something is wrong. And what we'd like them to do is email Mr. Ward and I ASAP, and we're going to jump on it. That's how we plan to, that's another way we plan to stop all the misbehavior and everything that's going on. Also, our schedule is different. I know you don't know anything about our master schedule, but now we got our kids in little hubs. They stay with the 3 teachers. They're not going all across to another class, to another hallway. We keep them all in one little area. That's going to stop a lot of the trouble too. We also have procedures, how they go back to the gym and how they come back to the teachers. I did tell the teachers today, they all looked at me kind of strange. I said, yes, students must be, I don't care what grade they're in, they must be in a single file line. They walk down in an orderly manner. We're going to continue to do that until we can see they can handle it. That's a lunchroom, going to the gym, back and forth. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to have to be a little bit strict until they learn how to handle themselves. We're going to be fair, firm, and consistent. We're going to have plenty of parental parent conference. We're going to do a lot of those because we want parents to be our partners, our true partners. And we'll let them know that too on open house. We're going to invite them all in. And one thing we're going to do too is that code of conduct, like I told the teachers today. Believe me, we're going to follow that. That's our Bible. Hey, you've been there one time, you're not going to get the same. You're going to keep progressing. And that's the only way you can get their attention. Also, since y'all are here, you do know that in the handbook, it does say that we may arrest. Not that I plan to lock all the children up. That's not what we're doing. What we plan to do is, if the fighting, that's dangerous, we got to keep everybody safe, we will make some examples. We probably won't have to make but 1 or 2 examples. Hopefully that will work and that'll cut it out then. So we do plan to go ahead and go forward. We're going to, that's the only way we can make it to the B like we want to. Now, we're going to celebrate learning. This is the part I like a lot. I love celebrating learning. And we're going to start the Bronco Pride program. I don't know if they still invite the parents after each report card period, but I'm going to bring parents back into the school. I heard them today. They said they didn't do that anymore on the middle school side. Well, yeah, the parents coming in. Right after the report card, I'm getting them in. I want them to see what their children are doing. I want them to help celebrate the learning. And then we'll have cookouts, school dances, and when it comes time for fundraisers, we'll put all our fundraisers on there. I know it's not time yet, right? But we will. Do we have time for fun, or are we late for fundraisers? No? Yes?
No, I mean,
We'll talk.
Okay, you'll talk. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, I'm new, y'all. Y'all got to give me if I'm too late, y'all got to let me in. Okay. Okay, so the student of the month and the teacher of the month. Y'all, we're going to do student of the month, teacher of the month. And I got someone wants to give teachers a monetary donation. The ones who are present all month, I told them about today. So that's something they want to do. So now they'll come to school often. We need our teachers there. How they're going to learn, we got to have them there. So I got a sponsor that's going to get a donation. I put everybody names in the hat, and then we'll draw it out each month. A teacher will win something. It's just something that we're trying to do, just keep people motivated and want to. We got a hard job, and if you see, by planting these seeds, the seeds that I told you, all those growth things, by planting these seeds, the Broncos will grow from the D to the B. We believe that. We talked about it. We all took an oath today, all our teachers. We are driving. We actually did, didn't we, Miss Bowles? Speak up. What's she Yeah, but we are. I mean, and we had a really good meet, so I was excited, and that's all I have. And I might have not done it just like you did but
you did a great job. I'm very excited that you're at middle school this year. I think it's just what they need and just what the school needs. And I just want to remind everyone here that I think a new sheriff's in town because she came from the high school last year with only 4 fights. So I think the kids may be surprised from last year thinking that they can do what they did last year. I think it's going to be a pleasant surprise for the staff, and I appreciate that. I want to go ahead and thank you and Mr. Ward for being visible. I mean, that's a huge,
Yes, it is.
huge thing for the teachers and the students. And me as a board member, I back up the administration and discipline. We have the discipline matrix for a reason, and
Yes.
sometimes when people do get in trouble, it sets the mindset that if this happens, this will happen. And also, I hope that, I want you to know that me as a board member back you up when parents decide to come and be aggressive with you. That is not going to be, we're not going to stand for that.
Thank you.
I mean, you do
appreciate
what you
that.
have to do because parents are not allowed. I'm all about parental rights, parents being involved. They do not have the right to come cuss you out or a teacher out. At that point, they should be trespassed and not be on the school campus.
Yes, so we're going to be ready for them.
And we've done that before. I mean, that won't be a new thing for the district. We have a history of having to trespass people who decide to come to school and cuss out the principal or teachers. I mean, that's inappropriate.
Yes, it
It's
is.
pragmatically inappropriate, and students do not need to be seeing that, and teachers or you shouldn't experience that. So I thank you for coming tonight and the information you presented.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you all so much.
Okay, next up is Madison County Central Pre-K through 5, Amanda Brown. In just a second, Dr. Pettiford, if you could please introduce your AP.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry for not remembering to.
You know what he did for me? I said, hey, you want a part? I was going to give him half of this. I didn't want to take it off myself.
Oh, no.
He says, no, I'm still new. I kind of want to just see what goes on.
The reality is I knew it would take her more than 5 minutes to warm up.
Well, welcome.
He learns quickly,
that.
Mr. Ward.
Hello.
Was,
Mrs. Gibson.
it's nice to have you here, Mr. Ward.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Ward.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to introduce my assistant principals. We have Miss Pam Anderson. She was formerly the dean at Madison County Central School last year, and Miss Christy Miner. She was the curriculum and MTSS at Pineda last year.
I'm going to give a little trivia before you start, and it just hit me. Probably like 25 years ago, I worked with Pam Anderson at Bright Days. She was a teacher for a baby class in Greenville, and I was a speech therapist there, and she was a teacher for, I don't know, like 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, but it just hit me when you came up here. So welcome. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to be talking tonight about the elementary side of Madison County Central School. And if you'll look at the very first page, our motto this year is "We believe in the power of yet." A very small word, 3 letters, but it packs a big punch, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Our enrollment at Madison County Central School for the 21-22 school year was 516. Currently, as of today, our enrollment is 463. We have new students enrolling every day, so I do expect that number to climb higher. We did have to go down a pre-K classroom. That's concerning because we certainly want to get them in as soon as possible. But hopefully we'll have some more enrolling soon for pre-K. The breakdown of our ESC numbers. Kindergarten, we have 11 support kindergarten students, 4 that are in our self-contained ESE classroom. In first grade, we have 3 support students. On IEPs, we have 2 504 students and 3 in the self-contained. In second grade, we have 4 students with support, 1 in the self-contained classroom. In third grade, we have 7 support students, 2 with 504 plans and 3 in the self-contained. In fourth grade, we have 8 with support IEPs, 4 on a 504 plan, 2 in the self-contained. And in fifth grade, we have 7 who need support, 4 with a 504 plan and 6 in our self-contained classroom. So we provide supports to a total of 71 students.
So those would just be LD and IND?
It could be IND, LD, OHI.
Would that be your language impaired and speech impaired, or those are not?
Those are not in those numbers, no, sir. Those are just the ones who are receiving supports. Last year's average daily attendance was 88%. Sorry, that's so small. So the discipline data for 2021-2022 school year. In kindergarten, there were 177 referrals written. In first grade, 244 referrals written. In second grade, 146 referrals. In third grade, 193 referrals. In fourth grade, 226 referrals. And in fifth grade, 336 referrals. For a total number of referrals, 1,322 between kindergarten through fifth. That's unacceptable.
What did most of these referrals refer to?
There was a wide range. I mean, just from disrespect, fights. A lot of them, as I was reading through them, were things that I think we're going to be able to take care of. I know we're going to be able to take care of this year with procedures that we're putting in place. Seemed to be a lot of freedom to go about the campus, and maybe some things happened there when they were out of sight of supervision, but we're going to tighten that up this year. So what is the plan? We're going to definitely continue with our PBIS with the Bronco store and our monthly Bronco Pride celebrations. That's something the students enjoyed, the teachers enjoyed, and we need to make sure we are promoting the great behavior and rewarding those students who aren't having the referrals. Our new automatic RTI, which is our MTSS behavior, and the basis and the foundation of that is catching those kids in the tier 1. So not just tier 1 academically, but tier 1 with behaviors. And the first step of that is going to be laying that foundation in the classroom with procedures put in place. You have a notebook, a binder that was given to you. That's a binder that I gave to all of my teachers today. It has lots of information of our school in there. It has our Bronco beliefs that we're going to recite each morning on the pledge. It has the district calendar. It has our school. We've already mapped out our school calendar for the year with all of the activities and dates on it, so we can get those to parents so they'll know ahead of time. It's also going to show you our lunch schedule. It's going to have our staff handbook, and then also it's going to have each teacher's schedule. So in case anyone's wanting to come and do some volunteer time, you can see what time each grade has reading and math and those kinds of things. Also, you're going to see in the back, you're going to see a form that every teacher got today. They're going to meet with their team teacher, and they're going to go ahead and think ahead of those the little procedures, things that you wouldn't think. A lot of people assume that kids know what to do when they need their pencil sharpened, or you just assume that they know what to do when they need to get up and go to the restroom. Well, that's not always the case, because if you have one student wanting to sharpen their pencil, then the next 5 and 6 and 7 are going to do it. So they're going to go ahead and have those procedures in place so that they can teach the procedures. And that's one of the biggest foundations of the new automatic RTI, is laying that foundation for Tier 1. We are also going to have breakfast in our classroom. Our teachers will report to their classrooms that will be there ready to accept students at 7:30. Students in K-5 will not go to the cafeteria for breakfast. A lot of the referrals were happening from breakfast or from things that stemmed from breakfast and carried over into the classroom or carried down the hallways. So we're going to have breakfast in our classrooms. That also allows students will, come in gradually. It won't be the entire rush of students at one time and the teacher trying to get instruction started. They'll be coming in slowly. One of the things we think is the teacher will be able to get the pulse of their student right then and there. They can see if Johnny's having a bad morning, talk with him, and have that time to talk with him before having to begin instruction at 8 o'clock. They can do, things like AR, and teachers can just, read with kids and really work on building those relationships. That's 30 minutes extra with those kids that they can start building relationships. Hall passes you wouldn't think that would be such a big deal, but it really is. We're going to, I purchased for all the teachers certain hall passes, and they're all different, they're the same color. We'll have yellow, green, red, and purple, and every child will have a hall pass if they're in the hall. A student should not be wondering. That way we will, or any adult will quickly be able to see if, make sure a teacher did send that child somewhere. And so we will know that every child's accounted for because a teacher has given them that hall pass and there's a purpose for where they're going. So the roaming is going to come to a stop. They won't be out of the classroom unless the teacher knows about it and it's absolutely necessary. The administrators, the three of us, we are strategically placed in the three hallways. I am in the hallway in the middle of the 4th and 5th graders. I have the reflection room, not an ISS room. We have a reflection room. It's connected to me, to where my office will be, so I can be hands-on right there if needed. We do not anticipate having to use a reflection room. I fully believe that pair will be able to be used in the classroom, helping students, and not having to be in the reflection room, sorry. Miss Pam Anderson is down in our 600 hallway in between 2nd and 3rd grade, and Miss Miner is in the kindergarten hallway between kindergarten and 1st grade. The teachers are really, really excited about this. They love that we are right there. We are in the trenches with them. We're ready to fight this with them, and they know that they can get to us, or we can get to them very quickly if needed. And not even just for times like that when they're having a problem, but they will see us all the time. We're in and out all the time. Another thing that in the past, the APs have been designated for grade levels, so there would be like a K2 or a 3-5 AP. I'm not doing that this year. We're all the same team. And I want every teacher to know that they come to all three of us. They're going to see all three of us in the classrooms. It won't be one or the other, so it's all three of us. Also, we're going to implement the 2-10 strategy. I've talked with Dr. Pettiford about this as well. This is another one of those strategies for helping to build relationships. What this is you take 2 minutes with a student, 10 days in a row, and you just talk with that child. No academic talk. You're not talking about did they do well on their test, or what did they, did they study. It's completely personal, and it's talking with that child and getting them to open up and just letting them know there's another adult in that building that cares about them. It's not going to be one of their students. It's going to be someone that's not a student, but every adult in the building will have someone. Our cafeteria staff will have a child. Our custodial staff will have a child. Our paras, our office, everyone will be invested. I did the math, and if we have everyone in our building, every adult in our building, take on 8 children this year, that means every child will have someone that has built a relationship with them other than their teacher. So we're going to do that. And hopefully, I'd like to get it done by Christmas, and then the next semester, we'll get a whole new 8. But it can be done. It can be done. We're going to start with our kids who had multiple referrals this past year. We need to get those quickly. We've got them. We've got those targeted already, and we know which students we need to get to first and build that relationship. You've seen a lot of numbers here tonight. You've seen charts. You've seen graphs. I'm not showing that to you. I told my staff this morning, my staff did not see numbers this morning. My teachers did not see one number. We didn't talk data, not one time. It's dead. That data is gone. It's over with. Most of the data comes from teachers who weren't even there or who weren't there with those students. It's not a blame game. It's not a time to let's look and go, well, what didn't happen? We know the scores. We know they're low. So what are we going to do? We're going to go up. And that has to start with building those relationships. Building the relationships with each other, building them with our students, and building them with our parents. So what do we do? All right, so we're going to have a dedicated team time for reading and math. And in the teacher schedules that you see in the notebook, you're going to see that. Every teacher will have a dedicated time to do reading interventions and math interventions. Now, interventions do not necessarily mean our Tier 3 kids. Every student needs to have interventions. If they're a 5, we've got to keep them 5. If they're 4s, we want to get them to the 5. We want to keep moving students forward. So no matter what level you're at, you're getting intervened during that time. The paras will be scheduled and support facilitation will be scheduled to assist during team times. We will have the bell-to-bell instruction. So having that breakfast in the classroom, I heard from a lot of teachers, by the time they got back to the classroom from picking up their class from lunch or breakfast and then having to deal with the behavior issues that may have come from that, it was, it took them a while to get them going. We could start the class at 8 o'clock. We're ready to rock and roll at 8 o'clock. Every grade level is team teaching. That's K to 5. Not one teacher is self-contained, teaching all the subjects. We have ELA teachers teaching ELA and social studies, math teachers teaching math and science. We do have 2 3-ways, and one in 2nd grade and one in 5th grade, and one will teach the reading, one teaches the math, and one's the science and social studies. That way they can plan and focus on their specific content and standards. Tier 1 instruction is going to be our focus. We can't intervene our way out of poor Tier 1 instruction. 80% of our students should be getting it with Tier 1 instruction. So if they're not, we need to step back and look at our Tier 1 instruction. We've got Caleb Watkins he's our State Regional Literacy Director, and his focus with us this year is going to be building that Tier 1 instruction, making sure we have that strong foundation. Our learning walks will focus on Tier 1 instruction, so when we are out and about and the coaches are out and about, they're looking for that Tier 1 instruction and looking for those best practices. Model classrooms will be used for Tier 1 instruction for peer-to-peer observations of the teachers. This is something we're going to be really looking heavily at. If the class average is below 70%, so when the teachers are putting their grades in Skyward, they can look and it gives them the class average for that assignment or for that test or skill. And what they're going to do is, it's a must. It's a non-negotiable. They have to reteach it. They can reteach it, then they can retest it. Right now, we are, due to our number of level 1s and our students who are retained, those are automatic sit meetings. Students in that are needing assistance. So those are automatic. It takes a lot of time away from teachers to have to go to those meetings. Not have to, but to go to those meetings, it takes time. It takes their planning time. So right now, we've asked for an extra hour of planning 3 days a week to extend the teacher day for an extra hour so they can use that time to dig deeper, work with their teammates, work with their grade levels, and use that data to make sure we're driving our instruction using that data. It's being negotiated right now, though. Ms. Varn, I asked her to look at some things for us for science. You heard the scores at Lee Elementary. Ms. Deborah Sauls was an amazing, amazing science teacher who taught both of those years and had that huge increase. She had the assistance of Ms. Nancy Varn. Ms. Varn came out. She helped with our data. She helped plan and drive the year. And I fully believe that Ms. Varn played a huge part in our science scores at Lee Elementary going up so much. So what she looked at, I want to go to this one. She noticed, she did a historical data and looked at science achievement scores and reading achievement scores. They went hand in hand. I believe, and I think probably a lot of people believe, the science test, you're not testing science. It's a reading test. If you can't read it, you're not going to be able to answer the science concepts or content in that. So, So Nancy, Ms. Farnham looked at that for us. She looked at the areas of the 4th grade end-of-year science assessment on USA Test Prep from last year. So these are our 4th graders that will be testing on the science this year in 5th grade. And she's got a plan, and she's already working with our 5th grade science teacher. We're going to build the students' decoding skills so they can read complex multisyllabic words, provide explicit science vocabulary instruction. He already has a vocabulary wall up, ready to rock and roll with that. Provide purposeful fluency building activities in science content to help students read information text effortlessly. Routinely use a set of scientific content comprehension building practices to help students make sense of the scientific text. Routinely scheduled coaching for science teachers. She is amazing at going in and coaching our teachers. Science experiments scare people sometimes. It's a little scary to let go of a classroom with kids and all these materials, but she has an amazing way of doing that. And she will model and teach those strategies to our teachers. And then increase student motivation and engagement in scientific literacy by utilizing experiential learning. Oops, sorry. All right, so I like to think of them as hurdles. Barriers to me seems pretty permanent. A barrier, I don't like the word really, so I wanted to change it. Hurdles to me seems a lot easier to work at, to get over. And so some of our hurdles: behavior, staff morale, lack of staff, attendance of staff and students, and parental involvement. So what are some of our solutions that we're going to propose this year? The classroom procedures, the automatic RTI, and engaging classrooms. To me, that's one of the biggest bang for your buck is having an engaged classroom. I was so excited when we could bring Kagan to the district, and the teachers, they would come by every day last week after they got out. And they were tired. It's a hard training. It's full. It's packed, full of energy. But they loved it. They're so excited. They were ready to get into their classrooms and start using those strategies. That will help with behavior. If students are engaged, they don't have time to misbehave. If students are engaged, they want to be at school. If teachers have students who are engaged, the teachers want to be at school. So it just all goes hand in hand. For staff morale, they're going to have support of their team. They're going to have our admin support, and we're going to make sure they feel valued. Lack of staff, you'll see this on the next slide. Attendance, again, engaging environment equals improved attendance. Parental involvement, our PTO meetings, we already have them mapped out the first Tuesday of every month. And then we're going to include student performances. If your child is going to sing at school, your parents are going to be there. So we can get them there, talk with them, and have our PTO meetings and get them involved. We have parent universities already scheduled for the year. We have 3 after each of the first 3 report cards. The first one will focus on literacy. The second one will focus on math. And the third one will be right after our STEM challenge. And so they'll be able to present their STEM projects at that time. Culture and climate. So this goes back to what I was saying about today. We didn't talk numbers. We know the numbers. We know what we have to do. Scores don't change the climate and culture of a school. The climate and culture change the scores. That hit me in the face. Gary Brooks said that at our conference a few weeks ago. And when he said that, it was a big aha. You can have an A school, and the climate and culture of that school is not where it needs to be. So we're changing the culture. We have got to change the culture, the perception, the belief of Central. There are so many times, and I've heard it the past 5 years, Central, Central, Central. No, we're not. We're changing it. This year it's going to be Central, Central, Central. That's what we're going to do. We are changing it. There's a feeling in the building right now. There are probably staff still out there, still working. Teachers are working. They want to be there. They're so ready to get these children, and we're going to make a difference. And they're excited about it. And thank you all to the ones who came yesterday to help us. I was out there sweating, Dr. Pettiford. Dirty. What, right, Miss Joseph? I was digging in the, we were digging in the dirt, weren't we? And it's beautiful. But it's the simple things like that. And so it's got to start from within. It has to start within the building, within our district, to change everyone's perception of the district and of Central. And it has to start with us. And we can only do that by having strong, high expectations. There's a big danger of low expectations. We watched a video this morning on the danger of having low expectations. How dare we not give everything to the kids at Central? How dare we? How dare we not think that every one of those children can make it? That every one of those children will be proficient? Is it going to happen overnight? I cannot promise you as the board that it's going to happen overnight. I can't promise you in May that the scores are going to double or get everyone proficient. I can promise you the kids are going to love our school, the staff is going to love our school, and the community will love this school. So, to go back to one of the other slides when it said that you would see it later about staff vacancies, we have 0 vacancies for Madison County Central School Elementary. We have a certified teacher in every classroom. We have every para. We have every person on our custodial staff, and we have everyone on our cafeteria staff, and we intend to stay that way. I had someone tell me that she was hoping there might be something coming open in January. The only way I want a vacancy in January is for our enrollment to be so high we need a new teacher. I plan on keeping everyone we have because we value our teachers, we value our staff, and we value our students. Last one, biggest one. We believe in the power of yet. If you come down the hallways, you will see this painted on our walls. You see signs everywhere. We talked about it this morning. We listened to a song. It has to be our belief. It has to be our belief that we are just not there yet. That three-letter word is so powerful. We can't do this yet. This doesn't work yet. It doesn't make sense yet. We are not in a school yet, but we will be. And I can promise you our staff is going to give everything we've got to make sure we get it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Does anyone have anything to say?
I'm impressed.
I am too.
I'm also impressed. I have a question, just a quick question concerning the dedicated team time for reading and math. Mm-hmm. Will there be a specific program that you're using? Or?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes. So for reading, we have LLI, Leveled Literacy Interventions. We have that. We also, the Edmentum, the Exact Path, will provide resources. We're in the hopes of this, along the lines of what I already did in a toolbox, to give us specific targeted activities that students need. In math, we have the Foundations of Math, which was very successful when we used it in summer school 2 summers ago. And so, yes, we have.
So this will be remediation for the whole school for 50 minutes?
Yes, they will get it. They will get reading and math for every student.
And I want to thank you for this. I've asked for this for probably 5 years. And I mean, I think that will make the difference of bringing up the reading and math scores. And also, you're right. I mean, this is a tier 1 instruction, and you're not going to intervention your way out of it. This is, I mean, it's tier 1 instruction, but I think the biggest changes will come with the remediation of skills they've missed, because it's just compounding each year, especially the older students. But I appreciate all your hard work and your assistant principal's hard work, and I'm very impressed. Y'all did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown,
Yes, sir.
everything you said was really good, really, really good. The best thing you said though was that you all gonna build relationships with those kids, that, and your team. Without relationships, there's not.
Relationships have to come
That's
first.
the key.
It has to come first. And so we really started with that today. It's a lot of new staff. I mean, a lot of new to the district, new from other schools, new to teaching. And so I wanted to focus on that part, because we have to, kids can see really quickly if a staff is not together, if we're not on the same page. Kids can see that. And I told my staff today, I says, give me a month. It might take me a little bit longer, but I will know every child's name in that school. That's my goal every year. Of course, it didn't take me as long at Lee, but I'm going to work, because a kid needs to know when they get out of their car in the morning, hey, Sally, hey, Sue, they have to know that. And for them to go, oh, they know my name, that's huge to a kid. One more thing, I hope you don't mind this. In the front of your binder, in the front pocket, you'll see a little piece of fabric. That's a prayer cloth. Every school year, my church prays over those prayer cloths, and they go to all my staff. You can take it, leave it, put it away, but I get asked for those every year. I have someone in Georgia who moved and is teaching in Georgia. She's asked me for prayer cloths. It works. So, there you go.
Ms. Brown,
Yes, ma'am.
I just got to say, what you said today, I have been preaching that for a while now, and I appreciate it. You and Ms. Pettiford. I'm looking forward to this year. There's a bright light over the Central School, and I think all of our students, staff, parents, and the community is gonna shine through it. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Pineda Elementary School, Yolanda Davis.
I bring you greetings from Pineda Elementary School. I am excited to be at this prestige school. First, we're going to start out with our vision and mission at Pineda. Our vision is to provide a positive and safe, motivating environment for children to learn. We believe that all children should enjoy their learning, achieve their potential, and become independent, lifelong learners. Just like my colleagues today during our faculty meeting, our theme song this year is Man in the Mirror. In order for us to change our school grade and change how our kids look, we have to start within ourselves and look at the man in the mirror. So that's our theme song. Our motto is one school, one team, making a difference. As you know, Pineda is a D school. When I tell parents Pineda D school is, they don't believe it. Pineda, the last time Pineda was a D school, I had to go back and look, was in 1999. Pineda was a D school. So we have no way but to come is up. If you look at our school data, currently we have, when I was leaving, we're up to 147 students now. Last year enrollment was 134 students. We have 27 ESC students, 19 students who are on 504, and 1 student who is gifted. Attendance, I spoke with Ms. Minor, and she did inform me. I was unable to pull it, but she said attendance was below 95%. Attendance was bad. Okay, discipline data. If you look at PES, they only had 16 referrals. I kept looking, I was like, are you sure it's only 16 referrals? And it was like, yes, 16 referrals. So what I decided to do was I emailed the staff and we decided to meet. They all came in over the summer and they decided, okay, what are we gonna do to keep our referrals down? So we're gonna build a relationship with students and parents. We also have a school-wide PBIS team. The team came in over the summer, we sat down, we met as a school. We've already set our school-wide expectations. We've created our rules. We've made the flyers and everything, rules to hang inside the classroom as well as in our hallways, in our cafeteria. We're gonna have a PBIS store this year where kids are gonna be able to earn Brave Bucks. They're gonna be able to come to the trading post, and every month they're gonna be able to spend their Brave Bucks. We're gonna also have monthly celebrations. We're gonna do SRP of the month, Teacher of the month, as well as Student of the month. We've also had Pineda Market, Mr. Washington, who has graciously agreed that he's gonna give our kids incentives for the month. The kids that are Student of the month, as well as Teacher SRP, they're gonna go down to Pineda Market where they're gonna receive ice cream for being the Student of the month. Our teachers are also gonna have, yeah, we like ice cream in Pineda. We're gonna also, when the team met, we talked about having classroom incentives. So we talked about our school-wide expectations. The teachers will have class dojo, and they also have incentives in their classroom that they're gonna be giving out to the kids. Hopefully, one thing we wanna do since COVID, we haven't been able to do field trips. So one thing the PBIS team looked at is possibly going back to having field trips. With our PBIS team, we meet every month. We have a PBIS coach, and then we are gonna be looking at the data, and then we're gonna be also making fun things for our kids, like coming up with activities. We've already met and we've already mapped out for the year what type of activities we're gonna do with our kids. Like we're gonna have 1 month, we're gonna do like movies, where kids get to do movies. Like 1 month, we're gonna do dances. We have some volunteers that wanna come in and have like little carnivals. So our PBIS team is working really hard on getting incentives for our kids. Our ESC service, we have a new ESC teacher that will be joining our staff this year, and I'll talk more about that in a future slide. Our ESC teacher, she's gonna pull students out for their accommodation. Our ESC teacher will also complete win time with her students, and I'll talk more about that. Our ESC teacher will also plan with the teachers, as well as when we have our RTI MTSS meeting, our ESC teacher will be a part of those meetings as well. When I look at students with 1 or more Fs per grade level, first grade we had 1 student. That student was retained. Second grade we had 2 students. Third grade 1 student. Fourth grade 3 students. And fifth grade we had 1 student who received an F. Now let's go to the next slide. Now when we look at PES data, I went back and I did a 3-year trend from ELA, math, as well as science. So we look at third grade. In 2019, we had 44% of our students were proficient. When we went to 2021, we increased to 56%. Now our third graders this past year, we dropped down to 45%. If you can see, that was 11% decrease in proficiency. Fourth grade, you see the numbers, we're at 57% proficient. We dropped to 50. Now we're at 38%. That is not acceptable. In fifth grade, ELA, we had 53% that were proficient, 56 that were proficient. Then we've dropped to 36 for students that are proficient. So if you look in our fifth grade, that was a 20% decrease in proficiency. When you look at our math, we started in third grade, we had 60% of our kids were proficient in 2019. When we get to 2021, we increased to 61%. This past year, in 2022, we dropped down to 45% proficiency, resulting in a 16% decrease in proficiency. Fourth grade, we started out with 61% proficiency. 63, we increased up to 63%. Then we dropped again this past year to 56% proficiency, which resulted in a 7% decrease in proficiency. Fifth grade, we had 34% that were proficient in 2019. We increased to 67% in 2021. And then in 2022, we decreased to 44%, which resulted in a 23% decrease in proficiency. Science, that's our bright light. We started out in 2019 with 49%. We dropped in 2021 to 39%. This year, we increased to 42%, so we increased our science by 3%. So what are we going to do to improve in those core subjects? We're going to teach using research-based strategies, win times for every grade level. That is basically our we intervene now. That's going to be a time that's designated as like intervention time, but we're going to call it win time, where we intervene now. and each kid will have win time every single day. And what we did was we have a teacher, a parent, as well as myself, as well as MTSS person. Well, we're going to go in and we're going to work with groups of kids every single day. Every kid will receive intervention time, whether they are 5 or level 1. But we have it broke up into sections where I may be in 2nd grade, the intervention MTSS person, she may be with 5th grade. So that's why we have them all at different times. We're going to be having parent conferences. We're going to have bi-weekly walkthroughs. We're going to have bi-weekly PLCs. We're going to review our data after each PM1, PM2, and PM3. I will have data checks with the students from our K-12 lift information, and then our teachers, they're going to have data checks with their students. Also, we're going to do reteach and retest. If our students are below 7% in the grade book, the teachers are going to reteach and they're going to retest. We're going to also have school literacy nights, like family night, where parents are going to be able to come out and they're going to see what their kids are doing, and we're going to make activities for the kids. Like the teachers, they're going to go through little stations and they're going to be able to receive material that they can go back and work with their kids on with at home. We're going to also receive coaching from Ms. Vaughn, our science coach. I met with her. She's going to be working with our 5th grade science teacher. Also, one big thing that we wanted to implement this year was daily calls to parents when students are out. You know how like sometimes kids are out, we're going to have our secretary call and say, hey, how's little Johnny doing? We notice he's not here today. So we want to keep that attendance on, because we know it's like some teachers would say like, you know, students are absent, well, mama didn't get up. But we're going to make sure we make calls to parents to see why they're absent. Barriers. I don't really think these are barriers, but I put them up here as potential barriers. They have a new administration coming in. We have a new MTSS/reading coach. But the good thing about it is she used to teach there. She's coming back. She went to a different district. She's coming back. We have new math curriculum. We have a new ESE teacher. She was there before, but guess what? She's coming back. We have two new teachers. They're not new to teaching, but they're new to PES. One of them, she used to teach there. She's coming back home. So we have some teachers that used to teach there. They are now coming back to PES to join our staff back. So what are some school-wide improvements that we're going to do? Again, we're building a relationship with teachers and students. The Kagan strategy, you heard from my colleagues, everybody brave, and thank you, Ms. Hill and Ms. Joseph for Kagan. Our teachers absolutely love Kagan. And so what our teachers decided to do, we talked about, it's like, okay, we really like Kagan, so we're going to implement a monthly Kagan strategy every month. So when I'm doing walkthroughs, if it's think, pair, share, win-win, rally, robin, they're going to talk about it, whatever strategy we put in place. When I'm doing walkthroughs, I should be able to see that strategy. And teachers just really raved about Kagan this year. We hope to increase student achievement. I only put 5%, but I know we're going to go up more, but I'm also being realistic with our numbers. Also talking with Ms. Vaughn, she said we're going to be doing fluency building activities to help students read rigorous text effortless. We're going to increase student motivation and engagement in scientific learning, literacy learning by utilizing experimental learning. We're going to do hands-on science experiments. That's a big one. Also, we're going to have bi-weekly PES meetings. That's our Positive, Passion, Empowering Schoolmate team. We're going to meet bi-weekly to discuss the days of school. We're going to also review our data quarterly through our K-12 lift. We're going to have our monthly PBIS meetings. Our kids will also get to visit our trading post monthly. Again, we're going to have data checks. I have data checks with the teachers. Teachers will have data checks with students. We're going to also set AR goals. We've also had a lot of people from the community have been coming out. Former teachers have been coming out to PES. They want to volunteer. So we've also have a volunteer who's going to come to our library at least 2 days a week. We have teachers, former teachers who want to come out and volunteer. We're going to also set math fluency goals. A lot of our kids struggle with multiplication, so we're going to start in 1st grade, building those, learning those addition and subtraction facts. Also, we're looking, because we are a D school, we have Uniseat, we're hoping to be able to hire some tutors that can also come in and help our teachers. Any questions, concerns, or comments?
I think it's a really good idea with the daily calls to the parents of the students who are absent, because at some point, you possibly could have to turn them over for truancy. And while the secretary is calling, be sure to document, so you'll have that if you do have to go to truancy.
Yeah, we
because
met with Mr. Nick today and we discussed all
that
that.
is, I mean, that is one of the outcomes of that. If students do not come to school, then we're responsible to turn them over to truancy. And I like you saying about using AR, because we do buy that. I mean, we pay for that for all the students, so it should be utilized, and I'm glad you are.
And we also going to be giving out incentives for AR. One thing that we decided to do, and I spoke with Ms. Beth, is with our incentives, we have a monthly incentive that we're going to do with K2 and 3-6 is called the Buchanan Award. And so I spoke with Ms. Beth, and during our monthly celebration, she's going to try to come out and present the Buchanan Award. And what that award is a student who is exemplifying basic leadership. Some of the principles that her dad instilled in her, as well as instilled in the foundations of Pineda Elementary. So that's going to be one of our incentives for our students. They're going to receive the Buchanan Award, as well as Ms. Beth would like to come out and present, and then give that student some type of incentive for that.
I like your motto, one school, one team, making a difference.
That's our motto, and our song is a man in the mirror. So today during our faculty meeting, we looked at different videos to motivate. And so at the end of our faculty meeting, we played man in the mirror, and I gave each teacher a mirror. And I say the only way that we can make a difference at this school is it starts with that man in the mirror, and that's yourself. And so I have one of my teachers here. They were just so excited about the change, because we did have some morale issues, but they are so excited. And so I can assure you that Pineda will not be a D next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next, Greenville Elementary, Ms. Bridges.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh, yeah.
Oh, can I say one more other thing? One thing. Another thing that we talked about also was like to build morale with our parents and students is, if it was okay with Ms. Joseph and the board, we wanted to start, I know all of our colleagues talked about is like having some of our students be able to come to board meetings, and like we're going to be singing songs that we can be able to present so you guys can see what we're doing in our school. So we would love to be able to start bringing some of our students to board meetings, being able to show you what we're doing in school, not you just hearing about in the street, but we're being able to come down and show you what we're doing. So that was one thing we talked about, is that, hey, we can come out and show the board what we're doing. They ain't got to hear about it on Facebook or the street.
That would be great. Just notify Ms. Bishop of when you want to come, and she'll notify me.
We talked about it as a team, so all the schools, I'm putting all y'all on the spot, all the schools we talked about, like, okay, 1 month will be Pineda, Leeds, Central, that we're going to present to you all so you all can see what we're doing at the school.
So if all the schools will just notify Ms. Bishop, and she can set it and notify the chair.
That's some of our principals' agenda for
Okay.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to share Greenville Elementary School data with you. I'm very excited, and thank you for the privilege of placing me as principal at Greenville. Okay, so I started with the student information requested from the board. Last year, the enrollment was 102 students. At the beginning, that was at the beginning of the year. And on that same time frame, enrollment this year so far, it says 100 there, but as of this afternoon, it was 104. Total number of students that have ESE services, have been labeled for ESE services, are 10, 6 of which are speech, 1 language disability, 1 SLD, and 1 intellectually disabled. Total number of students with a 504 plan is 3, and at this time, we do not have any students in our gifted program. Our average daily attendance at the bottom there was 88.49%. One of the strategies that I'm looking into to increase our attendance is to begin the year off with a lot of positive parental contact, and that's starting actually today and tomorrow. We are calling every parent for every student to invite them to our open house, which is Friday, 5:30, and I believe that through these consistently positive parental contacts, that's going to make the connection with the parent and the homes to be better and more positive, so that will increase the attendance. Also, we're doing initiatives, so at the end of every quarter, the student with highest attendance will get a trophy, those kinds of initiatives. Okay. Next, we have the student information from last year. This was our discipline data. There was a total of 57 discipline offenses. 25 students were referred for those offenses. From those offenses, there was 22 that resulted in an out-of-school suspension action. That was derived from 11 students. There were 3 loss of privileges actions, 17 detention actions, 12 in-school suspension actions, 1 student conference action, and 2 parental conference actions. This is just a graph to give you a visual of that discipline data. What caught my eye was the number of out-of-school suspensions. The discipline plan for this school year, to focus on that data, to begin with, we're going to implement with fidelity the automatic RTI tier system that we've just received training on. The teachers are going to create and share their classroom routines and procedures with me. We are going to utilize the new discipline flow chart that the district is preparing. We're going to continue a PBIS school-wide initiative. My focus is going to be to reduce those out-of-school suspensions through alternative restorative discipline when possible. In one of the cases of the suspensions, the student was out of school a total of 19 days. So that is a focus for me this year. I would like to increase the frequency of parental conferences and communications, to include community members as mentors. And you guys know how I am about my community people, so here we go. At Central, we had our Bronco Believers. This year, we're going to do the Colts Connection. That is going to be a group of volunteers coming in. We're starting with dads, granddads, uncles, brothers, male figures to come in initially, and they are going to be there to support and encourage our students. The Colts Connections, the Colts stands for a crew offering love to students. We're also going to utilize district instructional coaches for teacher assistance with classroom management and curriculum strategies. I believe that making sure that we have that Tier 1 behavior, like we were speaking about with my colleagues earlier about the RTI, the automatic RTI, that's going to help reduce some of the discipline issues. Also, we're going to utilize our mental health resources that are provided for us in the district. And we're going to have weekly check-in with a focus group of students. My first initial focus group of students is going to be those students that that resulted in an action of out-of-school suspensions from last year. That's going to be my first target group. I'm going to meet with them each week just to get that pulse like we talked about, tap into how they're feeling, what their needs are. I'm also going to contact their parents and just have that chat with them, see if there's anything that we can do and we can offer for the students. We're going to collaborate with teachers to create focus groups of students also for the check-in. Student achievement, possible barriers, hurdles, concerns. A new curriculum for our teachers. It's going to take some adjusting. 2 of the 7 teachers are in their first year of teaching from an alternative degree. We have a new 5th grade science teacher. And I need to stop and say, the solution that we're looking at for the first hurdles that we mentioned, again, is going to be utilizing our wonderful coaches that the district has provided. Mr. V for our instructional strategies and to help our new teachers. Also, Ms. Varn with the science. We've already met, and Mr. V is going to be coming once a week. Ms. Varn is coming once a week. And I've also met with Ms. Kara Washington for our ELA. She's going to be coming once a week. And I've also spoken with Ms. Irvine for our kindergarten teacher. New administration. That is, I'm going to be looking at my own personal professional development for my own accountability and possible mentorship. One possible barrier may be that at this time we do not have an MTSS person, but we've received UNICEF money, and we've decided that it would be the best interest of the school to use that money to hire an MTSS person. So we'll follow up with that as the grant is processed. No ESE support facilitator at this time. I am meeting with Melinda Ritchie on Friday to discuss plans for our students. We do have one paraprofessional position vacancy at this time. And a possible barrier is possible burnout. Some of the teachers were feeling a little burnout, but to work on that, today we started with a very excited, energetic faculty meeting and making those relationships to let the teachers know that I value them so much. The district values them, and it's kind of like the PBIS program, but for teachers. And it's my motto with that is I borrowed it from Brene Brown. No, is that Brene? Yes. You know who I'm talking about. She says, feed the teachers so they don't eat the students. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure they are well fed. Okay, the student information. This is the number of students with 1 or more Fs. 6 were in 1st grade and 1 was in 5th grade. Okay, moving forward, this is a snapshot of our FSA data for grades 3 through 5. I did a 2-year comparison beginning with 2021. And I put the subject grade 2021, 2022, and then the change, positive or negative. So you can see ELA for 3rd grade went from 16 to 38% with a positive change of 12 points. ELA 4th grade, it dropped from 38 to 18% with that was a 20-point drop. ELA in 5th grade, 7% proficient to 38%, resulting in a 31-point increase. Math for 3rd grade, 21% in 2021, up to 44%, with a positive increase of 23 points. Math for 4th grade went from 19% proficient to 13%, with a negative 6-point change. Math for 5th grade, 60% to a 19%. That is a 41-point decline. Science 5th grade went from a 7% proficiency to 19% with a positive 12-point change. This is another slide to show that's the same data. It's just another way of looking at it. Again, the exclamation marks let you know where they were last year, and you can see how the progress or the decline. So some have like glows and grow. I did praise and raise. So I'd like to put a praise for the 5th grade science, increasing the 12 points. And we contribute a lot of that to the hard work of the teacher, but also to the guidance of Nancy Varn, our science coach. She is doing, I've met with her, and she is coming, like I said, once a week We're also going to be doing, at least once a month, we're going to be doing a standard-based lab that will assist the teachers in going through these experiments more comfortably. She also has planned out for us the standards that need to be taught, and she has made the recommendation, which you'll see that on the last slide. I'm jumping ahead, but she's made the recommendation to focus on increasing comprehension of nonfiction texts to help the students. Again, as our colleagues were saying, if they're struggling with the reading, they're going to struggle with the science test. So we're going to do a school-wide initiative to focus on comprehension skills in reading. So third grade, I need to go back to fifth grade. Fifth grade ELA, 31 points. Third grade ELA, 22 points. And third grade math, 23 points. Those were all the increases. What I like to raise, even though the fifth grade science is on my praise side, it's also on my raise side, because I am very proud that it went from 7 to 19%, but we want to go higher. So that's one of my main focuses. Also, we want to raise our ELA and math achievement. So, an opportunity, some plans. What I have implemented is to increase the ELA and math class periods from 70 minutes to 90 minutes each day. Also included, additionally, will be a 50-minute reading and math intervention school-wide. Also, this year we have changed the structure of the school of the fourth grade through sixth grade, and that is going to be subject specific. So the ELA teacher will be teaching ELA 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Math teacher, same. And then for the sixth grade teacher will be teaching the science and social studies for the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Again, like I mentioned, we're going to be focusing school-wide on more comprehension skills practice from kindergarten to 6th grade. Also, we're including a collaborative planning time for the teachers so they can have that, the collaboration with their peers. We're going to go from kindergarten to 3rd grade. It's going to be a group to just have their discussions together, and then in 4th through 6th. We will be having, like I mentioned, weekly meetings with the reading coach, early literacy coach, science coach, and instructional coach. We're going to include peer observations, PLCs, data chats, and progress monitoring for data-driven instruction. Also, we're also going to be including the AR and in our reading time, and I've asked all the teachers to make certain that during that reading block that they are reading aloud to the students. It's so important that they can hear that language. Okay, and so for science, I have a very vigorous goal, 100% proficiency, 5th grade science. I'm excited about that because I cannot put a number on what would be acceptable other than that. And so we talked about it today, school-wide initiative. We want to help focus on our science. So we're going to integrate science level books, articles, nonfiction readers in reading time for all grade levels. And we're going to have the use of scientific academic language in all grade levels so that the students are familiar with the vocabulary. Weekly meetings again with the district STEM coach, standard-based instruction. And we're going to make certain that we have a benchmark assessment for data-driven instruction created by Ms. Varn. We're having rigorous STEM projects planned, monthly standard-based labs, and science parent nights. We're going to have kind of a STEM parade set up in the gym so that the students will have their projects and the parents can come and view all of their, like a miniature science fair. Our vision statement: we are relentless in our dedication to lay a foundation for success in our students' future in college, in a career, and as community leaders. Oh, I pushed too many, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I think it's a great idea to call every student to invite them to open house, and just they'll feel important, and maybe that'll encourage them to come and the parents to come, the
Yes, sir.
grandparents.
And I like the fact that you're working on getting more parent involvement. I like the fact that you're working on trying to get another MTSS person in. Is that position for the paraprofessional vacancy gonna be filled that you know of?
We got interviews later this week.
All right.
And I like the fact that you like the teachers reading aloud to their students. And I'm surprised you have any discipline referrals, because when I go to that school, I never see anyone misbehaving. But
Oh, that's wonderful.
I'm sure it happens behind the scenes. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
got
you.
You got the campus looking good.
Yeah.
Sir?
You got the campus looking good.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Bell, for your assistance with that this week. Thank you. Thank you to the board for, we were able to get some painting done. And I should have brought pictures. It really looks nice, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of our instructional leaders here in the district for coming tonight and giving the most explicit instructional review that I have seen to date as a board member. And I appreciate that. I truly do. I'm driven by data, and I'm driven by ways to try to improve student performance. And I truly believe that the 50 minutes of remediation for reading and math is going to be the game changer for the district. And just having everybody on the same page with discipline and having students on target and not wandering around and not unsupervised, because nothing good comes out of that. But I'm very excited. And again, I appreciate all of your work into this. And again, I thank you for coming at this time. Do not feel bad about leaving, administrators, because we have a little bit more for our meeting. And I appreciate everyone coming. If you're welcome to stay if you wish, but I do appreciate the administrators coming.
This is going to be a late meeting. That was
fantastic for all schools.
I'm very excited. Very excited. Very, very. I think I'll put it all right here.
Okay, at this time, we will continue.
Okay.
At this time, we'll continue. 5.4. At this time, we'll continue. 5.4 is the Waypoint expansion. Board members, this is an item that continues to come before us, and I think we need to we need to put it to rest. Waypoint Charter Academy is
Nicole is here.
Oh, she's here. Okay. Okay, please come to the podium, if you will. Gosh, the room really cleared out. Okay.
Thank you all for having me today. And I was going to thank all of them, because hearing their presentations and the work that they're doing at their schools was also just a great experience. And it got me excited about the work that we're doing here in Madison, as well as our other communities. So I did want to just come so we can speak freely and just kind of address if there's any additional concerns that you have, as well as just provide any information regarding the expansion.
I'll just be honest. I have a concern that it's not here in Madison County.
Okay.
And my concern is us being able to monitor the facility. And I think Hernando County, that's where it's at, isn't it?
Correct.
That's a long distance from here, and our staff can't have that responsibility of trying to make sure that with visits. I don't know how the other board members feel. I would like to hear from them.
I've got a concern too. It's just something that I feel like we wouldn't have a good grasp on because of the distance. And I don't feel comfortable having it so far away from us.
Mr. Carroll, how do you feel?
I don't even really understand it a lot. Is it being done anywhere else? This kind of thing?
Yes, sir. So you can actually contract as a virtual education provider. We want to be able to do that mixed with blended learning just because of the acuity of students that are being served on that campus. we know that we could just have them doing FLVS for the students, but that's not going to be able to actually provide them the academic enrichment and achievement that they really require while they're there with us. So in doing so, we want to be able to provide that education with the blended learning component, having those face-to-face teachers there in order to ensure the student's success.
So you all would have face-to-face teachers
Yes, sir.
there?
Yes, sir. And
That
similar
works for you all?
Yes, sir. Similar to right now with Waypoint, for those of you guys who come to our campus, so we do use Edgenuity as our primary service delivery model, and then we still have our face-to-face instructors there to provide that supplemental support and enrichment.
Is there a possibility of you connecting with Hernando County, to do this, or?
So we did, it was originally approached to go through them at that moment, but there was kind of a contingent relationship, I think, coming into it. It was a DJJ residential facility. They changed into the PRTF facility, and I think that just wasn't like a seamless transition during that, which is why they reached out to Twin Oaks to see if we would partner with them to help them get their charter school up and running as well.
Mr. Reed, legally, would that cause any problems for us?
I think legally you are allowed to do it. You're not required to have a school outside of your district. I think the issue, like the chairman was bringing up, is practically how do you supervise those students and go inspect that facility and that sort of thing. And I think that's a practical issue. I don't think it's, and actually I don't think it's settled law on this, a district having a charter where the students are physically located outside of the district. I don't think that's a settled area of the law. I know in Jefferson, where I'm also the school board attorney, Somerset wanted to do that, and Jefferson turned them down and didn't want to do that for those reasons, that the children were all over that their thought was they were going to, Somerset's application was to have an actual virtual school where the students would be all over the state, but it would be in Jefferson. It would be a Jefferson charter school. So, there are a lot of issues here that, you all need to consider in your decision.
Are there any other questions?
No, I was just saying, we've been to your school and we know what's there, and that makes me feel comfortable going to schools. I'm able to go to all of our schools freely. This is something that we would probably not be able to do, well, you could do it, but it's just something that would be very inconvenient to do, it's just the distance.
I personally don't know how we would ask our staff to go to Hernando County to view a school when we have schools here that they're having to go to. And 3 that are under BSI. I don't know that that's even logical for us to ask that at this point.
And may I ask which staff you're talking about coming to our school? Like as far as, because I know for our ESE services, we actually do Zoom. We haven't had anyone actually come. We've had Angie, as far as our speech language, come out in person. But prior to that, we have been able to use the virtual Zoom or Teams.
But have any administrators been out to
we have threat assessment team meetings, yes.
And just, as a board member, I would want the administrative team to go see actually the school campus and what we were being over. I don't feel comfortable doing that and not being able to see face to face, and I can't ask our staff to go to Hernando County that far away with what they have to do here. I don't feel comfortable even suggesting that. And knowing, like I said, we have 3 schools that are under BSI, and we do not know what, as a board, is ahead of this admin team and the principals this next school year with the state of Florida. Is there any other discussion concerning it? Is there a motion? There's not a motion. I'm passing the gavel. I make the motion to deny the Waypoint expansion. It's your meeting now.
So you need to ask for a second.
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 All in favor?
But we want to see if anybody wants to discuss.
Do anybody want to discuss it any further?
I still don't know what it even is, but,
She
I
can give
mean-
an explanation.
I know it's a school, I guess it's a school like you all have.
Comparably, it's called a psychiatric residential treatment facility, so it's a higher level of acuity.
And so if we done that, we would be responsible for,
Yes.
So they presently have a charter school, right? The charter school, they presently have services, students here in Madison County at their facility. They've also got another facility in Hernando County, and what they're wanting to do, this is an application to amend the charter they presently have to also allow them to serve the students in Hernando County virtually. So right now, you've got a charter where that allows them to have a facility in Madison serving students in Madison. If you were to approve the application, you would expand that charter to allow them through that facility to service students in Hernando County virtually.
How many students are you talking about?
Currently, they're projected to be at 70 within the next 6 months. And our numbers at Waypoint have increased as well. So now we're currently at 52 as of 5 p.m. today on Waypoint North Campus. Within the next 6 months, I'm anticipating to expand to 70 in Hernando as well. And so this was all also pursuant to statute 1002.455 with the virtual instruction provision through the charter, which is where we were hoping to be able to expand. But of course, we respect and understand your decision as a board as well.
I just have even more concerns now that she said it was a residential psychiatric facility. That's a lot of responsibility that we would be taking on as a district. Am I right, Mr. Reeves?
Well, I don't think you would necessarily assume responsibility for the psychiatric part of it.
But if things were to...
You're assuming through the charter, they would provide the educational, for the educational needs, and those would then be run through the district. I think the issue is whenever an entity has a charter, that you've granted the charter, you do have some responsibilities as far as overseeing the charter, making sure that things are getting done and that type of thing. And that's the issue. I think that
So we would be over making sure things get done.
Making sure things get done is probably, that's a little broad. So for instance, you're not like the charter schools we have in Madison right now. You don't go and make sure the floors get swept and lunch gets served and all of that. You don't do all of that. But the charter says that they're going to meet certain goals and do certain things, and you do have a responsibility to try to ensure that what they've agreed to do in the charter, they're actually doing. Right?
And that involves our people going over there to the school.
I think yes.
They have to
It does to a
go
certain...
check on things, I would think.
It does sometimes. Now, it's not, certainly not every week.
No.
Walk through the calls, but, and most of it is reviewing, is reviewing reports and that sort of thing. But that's probably a better question for you, Superintendent, than for me.
I do know that we were written up by the Auditor General concerning that with financials, we're having to see financials for them. Monthly financials have to be presented, and I have concerns of it being in Hernando County.
That's my big concern right there.
And we have schools here that, it's hard enough to get to the schools here. I don't know how we're going to expect district staff to go to Hernando County.
This motion by Mr. Alford, seconded by Ms. Gibson. All in favor? 4-0.
Thank you. 5.5 personnel changes.
Yes, sir. This evening, we come to you with, on your instructional list, do you have 5 names on your sheet?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Okay. The name at the bottom, Sneed,
I need to have that one struck through, please. Other than that, the 4 that are above it, those are 4 that we are recommending for instructional staff. And then we have 9 that we'd like to request for non-instructional recommendation. And then there are 3 at the bottom for resignation that we're also doing. However, 2 of those 3 are basically because of a job change, kind of a domino effect. So there's actually only 1 that we will not have with us anymore.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the instructional recommendations and non-instructional recommendation and the employee resignation terminations?
I move to approve the instructional recommendations, non-instructional recommendations, employee resignation, termination.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Any discussion?
We've
Okay,
gotten
all
quite a
those in
few.
favor, show of hand. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the personnel changes.
Thank you.
It looks like we have people who want to work. That's good. We have
Ma'am?
people that want to work, it looks like.
Yes, ma'am. We're
Okay.
getting them.
We're getting them.
Okay, 5.6 is the policy changes. I will read the policies. Policy 1213, 3213, 4213, student supervision. Policy 1590, policy 3590, policy 4590 is personnel file. Policy 2215 is the program of instruction. Policy 2410, the School of Health Services. Policy 2417, comprehensive health education. Policy 5500, student conduct. Policy 5511, dress and grooming. Policy 5780 is student and parent rights. Policy 8141 is mandatory reporting of conduct.
Misconduct.
Misconduct, sorry. And possibly conduct. Okay, those are the policy hearings. I'm sorry, the policy revisions. At this time, we will open it for public hearing. If anyone would like to comment on any of the policies that I've just named. Anyone in the public would like to comment on any policy revision? Okay, at this time, I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve the policy revisions?
Wait.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
I make the motion to approve the policy revisions.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've completed the truth and millage. 5.8 is the contract for progress monitoring. We have a contract with Ed Mintum for $40,112.92. With Core Library, a program license of $7,700, and with Renaissance for $1,500. A total of 6 hours of remote sessions for the $1,500. Anything else?
I was just going to say that the Ed Minimum, there are 2 parts. One is for courseware, that's for our students at the high school and central school who need to take credit recovery, and we use our teachers for that. The other Ed Minimum contract is for the students in the Bridge program, where the students take the courses online with the assistance of Ed Minimum teachers. That way we can make sure that all of the teachers who teach the courses are certified in the specific areas, the academic areas, for example, English, math, science, and social studies. And finally, the Renaissance one, this year, we are changing to FAST, for our statewide progress monitoring. For pre-K to 2, that FAST is STAR. And so we want to make sure that our teachers really understand STAR reports because that's all integrated into the FAST progress monitoring.
So that's called FAST, from the state you said?
Yes, ma'am.
FAST?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what it's going to now?
Yes, sir.
Instead of the
FSA.
How many times a year will this happen?
There will be 3 administrations. There will be a beginning of the year, mid-year, and then the last one at the end of the year is the one that will count toward for grades 3 to 10 for school grades.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any more questions concerning the contract?
I mean, that's pretty much something we gotta have, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we've got to have it. Is there a motion to approve the contract with progress monitoring?
I move to approve the contract for progress monitoring.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Any discussion? All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Last item on our agenda is the administrative and confidential secretary schedule.
Okay, Mr. Chairperson, I brought the administrator and confidential Sarah to you last month. The payroll person looked through it, and I had some errors, minor errors, so it's basically the same. She just cleaned it up for me.
I just want to say this. I feel like I need to say it.
Okay.
And I haven't discussed this with Ms. Joseph, and I apologize for that, but it's just, I mean, it's something I've thought about in the last day, and I just didn't have time today to discuss it. I personally think that we need to look at, I know we're offering the principals at Central the $3,000, but, you know, the night it came about, I asked about it. And looking at that enormity of that job, I don't want it to be a slap in their face of $3,000. I'll be frank with you. If I were asked to go out there and not told I was going to be the principal for $3,000 supplement, that's a huge task. A huge task. And again, I'm not asking to decide anything right now. Think about it. Think about it. Think about what they have to do. But considering they were on the same pay line as they were at their other small places or duties they were doing, this is a big responsibility, even though that it's split. I'm not saying that, I mean, even if it were like $1,000 or $2 more per person, I mean, $300 or $3,000 is not even $300 a month extra. And so I think we just need to take a look at that and be cognizant in the role and what they have to do, because that's a huge responsibility, and one that just the dynamics of working the people, not including the students or the parents, is a huge task. So I'm not asking tonight, just think about it, and we will maybe at the next meeting discuss it, or you can discuss it with Ms. Joseph if you feel that it maybe should be added back, and then she can tell me, so we're not breaking the sunshine. But I don't feel comfortable with the 3,000. This is just me speaking, not anyone else.
She can tell, y'all can talk about whether or not to bring it back. She couldn't tell you a board member wants
No.
to add it.
I just
Okay.
want her to, like, if she said that someone contacted her about bringing it back, then I'll know to put it back on for us to.
So are we gonna vote what we have now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Joseph, from what it is now tonight, and you said it was cleaned up, what is different about it?
Somewhere, excuse me. I had made the wrong additions over in the confidential area. The scale was not consistent. And the payroll person looked at it and saw that I wasn't doing it consistently, and it's consistently. Basically, I'm treating everybody alike, but before I wasn't treating, one scale was going up by one amount, another scale was going up by another amount, another scale was going up another amount. She cleaned that up and made everybody go up by the same amount.
So everybody's going, getting the same
On
amount?
that confidential
straight across the
side,
board?
yes, ma'am.
Straight across the board?
I don't know what the square, we talking the same length, I'm talking about on the confidential side. Okay? Because the increments are the same now.
Are there any other questions?
So we voting on this, and then you're thinking about bringing, which, you know, I agree with you, a principal is a principal of a school. I mean, even though it's a big school and it's split, you know, one's a middle school and one's an elementary school, and they principals, you know.
They've got the principal responsibilities.
Yes.
Does this have to be voted on tonight?
We're gonna vote on the first part, and then the other, think about, and you can speak to Ms. Joseph, and then she can tell me if she's had people have interest in us continuing to discuss concerning the supplemental for the principal. I just, for the instructional leader of our biggest school in the district, should be making less as a supplement than coaches and extracurricular. That's a huge responsibility. I mean, that school is either what school make us float or sink the district, and I think we need to put the respect in our instructional leadership. So is there a motion to approve the admin and confidential salary schedule that we have now?
I move to approve the administrative and confidential salary schedule.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. I think that is the last item on the agenda. Any superintendent items?
Yes, there's some superintendent items. Even though my administrators are gone home or gone wherever, I would just like to say I was really excited by their presentation, and I'm deeply humbled by the dedication that they've shown, and they have bought into the idea of what we're doing this year. Okay, I'm looking forward to some great changes. We just need your support. Okay, a couple of things I have presented to you is you got the invite for our annual county-wide meeting.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to be at the Central School on Thursday. We're going to have business from 8 to 10, and our meeting will be from 10 to 12. And we will have our county-wide luncheon at 12 o'clock. Are we going to be in the gym at the Central School? The gym is not repaired. We're seeing a little bit of progress, momentum from the contractors, but it's not there yet. You still see something, but the high school cafeteria would not accommodate all of us, and so that's to keep us from moving. I think we are adults and we have sense enough and we're respectful enough not to get on those barriers at the Central School in the gym. The gym floor is still messed up. The second thing you have is the open house schedule, and there's one correction I need to make already, is that Bridge open house is scheduled for August the 4th. That date has changed, and once I find out the new date, I will get it to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reeves.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carroll.
I just want to, thank all the administrators for coming out. It was really good. I really think that they fired up. And I almost wanted to enroll back in school.
It's never too late.
Never too late to learn.
I really enjoyed their presentations, and I went to each school and met with them last week and talked with them, and they are generally care about our kids, and not that we don't, but we really need to make sure that we support them. That's all I got.
And I'd like to thank all the principals and assistant principals as well for their presentations. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this school year, and thank you very much.
Ms. Bell?
I think the principals and the assistant principals did an outstanding job on their presentation, and I'm looking forward to an amazing year,
I too,
school year.
okay, thank you. I too want to thank all the principals for their presentations. I know that it was a little long, but I feel like it's something that we needed to review, and we needed to look at, and they need to look at to move the school forward. And I have good feelings about what's going to happen. I truly think that the 50 minutes of intervention in math and reading will be the game changer at many of these schools, with added practice and repetition and just teaching skills that they haven't learned and hadn't been taught really. And the other idea of making a 70 or below to have to reteach it, that also will be a game changer, because many of the kids are missing those skills. So I'm really excited. I think they did a great job. Wish everybody a great first day when that comes around, and hope everyone is safe and we get off to a good start. That's all I have tonight. And is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? And I wish that Miss Williamson is feeling better. She's a little under the weather. I hope she's doing better, and she should be back at the next meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I made the motion to adjourn.
Properly moved motion made by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for adjournment.